All right, everyone. Nice having you here. In today's video, we're going to be looking at how to create this particular beautiful dashboard right on your screen. So before we actually talk about this dashboard, let us look at the files that you're going to download. Inside the download file, you're going to see this particular PDF that talks about what you need to do to actually create a dashboard. So this is actually the request that is being sent to you to create a dashboard. So you have to read through this. So after you might have read through it, if you're creating this for a client, you can actually ask the client to actually create something like this for you. We call this a sketch. You can do it on rough paper, on a particular program. So what I've done here is using quick notes to actually get this done. So I have actually sketched how my dashboard would look like. I have to follow this to create my dashboard. So here comes the data you're going to download, and the final result will look like this. Let us look at what this particular dashboard is all about. So this dashboard is about sales and marketing call center. So over here we have choose a call agent. So if I decide to go ahead and choose a call agent right now, what happens is that my dashboard gets some kind of filtered. Can you see that? So over here I get a highlight. If you look at this particular part right now, I get a highlight of the person that is being selected from here, and it gets all the whole dashboard some kind of filtered, right? So what about if I select somebody like Drill here? Now, if you look at it right now, we have gotten this highlighted. And one of the beautiful thing about this dashboard is that what we have right here right now is all about this particular, person we have selected from here, or an agent we selected from here. So this is the success, successful calls, like the call that was successful. Out of 28,000 calls he received, 20.2% of the call were successful. So we have the rating, we have the average call duration, and over here is actually what was discussed during the calls, and we can see the success rate right here: travel, loan, internet package, insurance, and electricity. So we have the failure part of it. So we can decide to go ahead and change it to a different person, Olivia here, and you can see what is going on right here. So one of the beautiful things is this: we can actually filter to a particular month. Let's say the month of May, and this gets to change. Can you see what happens here? This is it. So once you're done using the filter, you can hide it. And this particular month here is peculiar to this particular person selected from this right here. So when I choose to go with this now, it has changed and it's highlighting the max month and the min month that he received calls. Right? So over here talks about the calls that we abandoned, the reason. So maybe technical issue, long wait time, customer hang up, whatever it is. So over here is a place where we can click on, and we have this switch to a map, and we can bring it back to a chart. So what about this? Right? So we can filter using the time of calls right here. Depends on what you really want. So once you're done and you don't want to actually use the filter again, we have over here what we call unfilter. So once you click on it, it's going to unfilter your dashboard for you. So now we have just unfiltered this particular dashboard. If I come over here right now, there is no selection. And over here, there is no selection. This is exactly what it is that we're going to be building today. And if you're ready to follow me, so let's get into the class. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to your friends and family for them to be aware of this particular channel. So see you in the class. The first step we need to take to create the dashboard is to open the data we're going to be using. So over here, this is the data we're going to be using for the dashboard. So the next thing is for you to look at the dashboard requirements. So if you open up the PDF you downloaded, you're going to see this particular, our dashboard request right here. So all you have to do is to make sure you read through this particular part to understand what exactly you're about to get into. After you might have done that, the next thing you have to do is to actually create a sketch on how you want your dashboard to look like. And how will you do this? You have to read through the PDF to understand what insights you need to draw from the data, and now sketch how you want to show it on your dashboard. Okay, if you look at over here now, we are going to have a top header here that shows the title of the dashboard, a drop down for the agents, and as well we're going to have a slicer here. And over here is going to be, some couple of KPIs we need to show on our dashboard. So next again is going to be this particular part right here, where we show a chart that shows the total calls by agents, and beneath it is going to be another chart that shows the top 5 agents and orders. So over here is going to be another chart that shows the call success rate and orders based on whatever agent is being selected from the drop down right here. So here is going to be the average rating and average call duration, and over here is going to be what is being discussed. It could be travel package, loan, whatsoever. So we want to see the success rate and how many of the call got failed. Okay. So right here, we have call abandoned. We want to see the reason why calls were abandoned. Was it because of technical issues, agent not available, long wait time, or customer hang up whatsoever? And right here is going to be a trend line that shows the call by whatever agent that is being selected from here on a monthly basis. Okay. Finally, over here is going to be a very nice chart where we can show a chart and as well a map at the same time by providing a particular button right here, whereby if the user clicks on it, it can show chart, it can show map showing the same state, right? And beneath it, we're going to have, here some kind of top 5 cities or top 5 states and the percentage versus orders, just to make sure we look at where we have more calls coming from. This is exactly what we're going to do. So we have to look at how we can achieve this inside Microsoft Excel. So let's get into it. As you can see, we almost have our data to be 100% clean. So the issue we have right now is on the dates and as well on this particular 2 columns right here. So those 2 columns should be combined together. So over here, the date is not on a proper format. We have to actually format it. So before we proceed, let us do Ctrl T. So with Ctrl T is going to actually help us to convert this into a table. So let's do that. So we have this. Remember, you can actually go over here and change the table to whatever design you feel like you want to use. So I would love to go with something as plain as this. Can you see this now? Okay, nice one. The next thing for me to actually highlight this particular column with my Ctrl 1, I can go over here to date and I'll convert it to date by just clicking on OK. So just open it up right here. So now you have it rightly formatted. So next again is for we to actually add a new column and combine these particular 2 columns together. So with my Control Shift and the plus on my keyboard, so you're going to have a new column inserted for you. So over here, we have to name this particular column. Let's just call it full name. So the full name might not be clear. Let us say agent. Full name. So over here, you can actually select your first name. So using the ampersand, double quotes with a space, and that ampersand here, you can actually get this. And once you hit your enter key, this has created here for you a particular column that combines the 2 names together. Okay, once we have gotten this done now, the next thing we have to do is to start looking at how to create analysis. Okay, right away we need to go over to here, and now insert we can go over here to create our first pivot table to get this done. So if I click on it, it's going to ask me if I want to take this into a new sheet or I want to actually use existing one. Let's go into a new sheet. So our pivot table has a habit of creating it right here for you. So you might want to move this. Just select the area. And once your cursor turns into this kind of cross, you can actually move it anywhere you want to make it start from. So this is where we have it. All right, if you look at what happens now, if you're just getting started, we have this particular part called filter. We have column, so we have value, and we have rows right there. We're going to use almost all of them today. So now, if I drag in my date into this particular value here, the values here, so what is going to happen is that it's going to default to count for me. So any column I drag into this particular space right here, right now, is going to default it to count. Why is it defaulting to count? That was because it is actually a text, not a number. So the only time we actually have here to give us something that has to do with summarization is when we drag in here a number. And if I just go ahead and just click, so at default, is going to come into a row because it's actually some kind of text. So what we're looking forward to doing right now is to actually create our KPIs for now. So to create our KPIs, we need to know what we want on our KPIs. So we have to visit back here again. So inside our KPIs, we want to have the total calls, successful calls, failed, abandoned. Those are the three things we want to have on our KPIs. And after that, we're going to have male and female calls. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring call outcome right here, drag it into this particular row. So we have abandoned, we have fail, and we have success. So next again is for me to drag any column of my choice into this particular part right here, and it's going to give me a count. So if you look at it right now, for the call abandoned here, it's actually giving us 0. So why is it giving us this particular, blank or 0 right here? It was giving us this blank or 0 right here because if we look at what we dragged in here, is called product discussed. Let's go over to here and look for product discussed right here. We have some blanks here. So where we have blanks are where the, call outcome has some kind of abandoned. So for that, the column is not actually an ideal column to use to get it done. So we can actually go ahead and remove this from here. Then we can bring even the outcome into here as well. So the outcome now will count how many calls we abandoned, how many calls got failed, and how many success we actually have. So once we have this right now, we might want to go ahead and actually, format it using comma separator. So here we go. So the next thing you have to look at is this particular part right here. If you look at it, we have row label. So we want to make sure it shows something for us. Let's go over here and go to design. From design, we go over to, report layout, and we show in tabular form. So if we go back right now, it tells us call outcome. Do you see that now? So this is very, very important. We have created our first KPI. So how do we use it? So I'm going to name this particular part here as analysis. And over here, I'm going to add a new sheet. So on this particular sheet, it's going to be called my dashboard. So I have my dashboard here. Quickly, I have to format this particular area, very importantly. So go over to the top here and click on view. So from view, you can click on grid lines and you can turn off these particular headings. So once you have done that, you're going to have something like this. The next thing I have to do right now is to make sure I Ctrl A to select all the cells here and go over to the top here, go to home. From home, click on this particular part right there. I mean this fill color here. So once you actually go, click and select this particular one. Then, can you see what you have right now? This is what you need to do for the first time. Okay, once we have achieved that right away, we just go over to the top again. Now this time around, we go to insert, then we go to illustrations and we go to shapes. From shapes, we look for this particular, line here and we take it. So I can actually hold my shift key to draw a perfect line like this, right? So here we go. We have line here that will actually help us to get what we want. So let's go ahead and do Ctrl 1. So with my Ctrl 1 right now, I'm going to go ahead and increase this particular width. So increase the width to this. And once I have done that, I'm going to select this particular color. So look at the color I've selected. This is what it gives me right here. So let me just, I think I can close this now. So this is going to be this particular part of our dashboard. Can you see here? Title, drop down, and slicer, right? So right now we can give it our title by going over to insert, or by going over to insert here. What could that be? So we go over to text here and we take the text box, we drag it down. So over here, I'm going to type in sales and marketing call center, right? So once I've done that, I can just go ahead and some kind of, format this to what I really want. So I'm going to go over here and let us put this at 18. 18 will be fine for me. So we can just do this. If I do Ctrl+1, I can do the formatting from here, take off the line and the fill color. So you can even come here to actually change the text color. So let our text color be a little bit calm, like this. So for the time being, I'm going to drop it somewhere around here. So we have achieved this very one here right now. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and take this particular line up a little bit. Okay, nicely done. So we have actually gotten this done now. The next thing is for we to look at how we can actually bring in some cards here. Let's go all the way up, then insert and illustrations. Then we go over to shapes right here. Then we pick this particular rounded rectangle here. So you drag it down. So for it to be on the same page, we have to use the same height and weight. So it depends on the screen size that you have. So it might be different. So you can actually adjust it to actually match your screen size. So let's go over here. And over here, let's just do 1.03. So we do it by 1.98 here. So once we have done this now, we can just go ahead and some kind of reduce the rounded corner. And once that is done, Ctrl+1, over here, we can take off the outline. And over here, we can just go ahead and select this. So here we go. But if you look at it now, something weird happens. So this particular one is fitting into the background. It does not really pop. So I don't think this is going to be an ideal, right? So what can we do? Then let us go over to this particular part where it says effects. So under effects right now, we have to change the effect to quickly give us something that will make a lot of sense. So we go over to shadow here. So once we get to shadow, we come over to this particular part where it says presets. So now we select this particular one that has offset center. So if you look at it right now, it bounces the card off the background, but this is too much. So click back on it again. So let us use 94 over here. So 94% is good. So now this is better. So for the remaining one, leave it at default. I think we can do 100 here instead of 1 or 2. Just do 100. 100. We can do 4 over here. So let's do 4. So we do 3 for the distance. We can do 3 over here. Let's see what we have. Can you see it now? So what we have just done now is to actually float the shadow to the bottom right here. That is why we actually, affected the angle here, the distance right here. The distance here is very important, right? So the angle here now, we might want to do 135 degree. So 135 here. So now we have shifted it away from here. Now is at this particular left-hand corner on the bottom. This is where it affects. If you look at it now, it affects this particular part. It affects this particular part. But this one still has it, but not really much. So this is what we need to have for the first time. So once we've gotten this now, we need to actually duplicate this into 6. So I'm going to keep this one here like this. See that? So I'm going to Ctrl D to duplicate it. Keep this one here. Keep duplicating it until you have up to 6 of it. So once you have 6 now, the next thing you have to do is to go over here and make sure you keep it at where you want it to stop, right? Then hold your Control key to select all of this now, right here. So once you have done that, let us go to the top and go over to shape format, go to align, then you align top, then you now distribute horizontally. You now see what we have right now. So you can see we have equal spacing here, here, down to this particular last one right here. Okay, we have gotten this done now. So the next thing I want to have is to some kind of have this card to give us something much more different, a bit different. So what I'm going to do is to click on this one I'm going to do Ctrl+1 again. Then instead of me to select normal white from here by using this particular solid fill, I would rather go for gradient fill. So once I select gradient fill, I'm going to have something like this. So clicking over here now, I'm going to take off one stop from here. Then we can actually fill this particular part. So right away, we have to go ahead and get a preset from here, or direction rather. So the direction now is going to be, let's select anyone at random. I'm going to go with this one, right? So if I go with this one now, so here, I'm going to fill it with white, normal white right here. So I am going to fill this particular part here with white as well. That is nice. So over here, let us fill it with the background that we have, or something darker a little bit than that. So if I fill it with the background I have, it's going to look like this. So I'm going to fill it with this particular one here. Okay, so I can just shift this a little bit here. So it depends on what you want or the kind of effect you want. Something like this looks okay for me, right? So if you think you want to have, let's do something like this. Come over here, select this one. Okay, so having something like this might look okay, but I'm going to Ctrl+Z. I would rather have it on this one. Select the main background one. This one is what we use for our background with 5% darker. So it looks like this. So I can just go ahead and start moving this around. So I'm going to keep it at this particular position. Then it gives me this effect, right? So I'm going to select this now. Go over here. Double tap on this particular format painter and give it to this one. Finally, give it to this particular one here. So we have something like this. So our KPI card is ready. So it is time for we to fill in our KPI. So before we go further, let us look at the icons we're going to be using. And let me show you where I always get my icons from. So here on flaticon.com, make sure on this particular drop down, you are selecting icons. And over here, what you can do is to make sure you search for anything that is related to, calls. So I can actually do here calls now. So when I do calls, it's going to give me icons that are some kind of peculiar to calls. Then I can actually go ahead and actually use those icons, to get what I want. So as you can see over here, we have some bunch of those particular, icons for telephone, and cell phone. You can find it here, table phone, or whatever it is. Depends on what you want. And as well, call agents if you really want to actually get any of this right here. So I already have them downloaded. It's just for me to show you that this is the website you can actually use to get them. So let us go ahead and pick up those icons. So go over to illustrations, then go to pictures, this device. So over here I have icons. Those are the icons I have here. I can Ctrl+A to bring all of them in. Minimize it. Make it a bit smaller. So now I can separate them individually. So I have different icons I can actually use. Okay, so here we go. Now for our calls, total calls, we can actually go ahead and use something like this over here. So keep this over here. Now for call success, we want to go with something like this that has a check mark on it. Just keep it somewhere around here. You can make it smaller. Then for this one here, it's going to be for failed calls. So we're going to keep this and drag it a little bit. So you might not have this exactly if you want to download yours. So just make sure you look for something that is related. So for call abandoned, here I'm going to use this particular one here. So keep this around here. Now let us look for the gender. Look at this here for the gender. So I'm going to make it smaller a little bit and keep it somewhere around here. Then for male, For male, we have this. For female, we can choose to have either of this. So let's go with this particular one here. So here we have them. Okay. So what I don't like about them right now is that they are too dark. So I'm going to get these ones off. So on this one, I'm going to do Ctrl D to duplicate it and make it a bit smaller and have it as an icon over here. So if I click on this now and do Ctrl 1, it's going to give me access to this particular part here. So now I can go over to pictures, then go over to this particular picture color, then come down to here and select this particular one. Then do that to calm all of those particular ones down. So here we go. So we do it to this one and we select this one as well. Finally, we select for the female. So for the female, we'll do the same exact thing. So this one here, it will be very difficult for we to, except if we don't want it on the red color, so we can go ahead with something like this. So what about this? This looks nice, right? So we have all of them here. We do not have any text here. Now we can get this particular one duplicated, Ctrl D. And now we have to just do minimize it, and let's agree on what's. So let's go with something like this. So we keep this around here. So for the color, yeah, I think this color is okay. So as you can see, I have just kind of renamed them. So, but they're not properly aligned. So all you have to do is to make sure you hold your Control key to select them like this. So select this one and go over here in a shape format, align. I'm going to align this to the bottom, right? So it's going to give us something like this. This is nice, right? Okay, this one here, you can see how I actually, align this. So let's see what we can do. Now we have to bring in the figures, right? So I can just go ahead and duplicate this. Now it is time for we to open up our, formula bar. So we click on this one, put an equal sign here to bring in the total calls. We go over to the analysis and we go for the grand total. That is our total calls. Now we have this. So we have to look at how to make this to look beautiful. So what we can do right now is to format it, go over here and let us select home. So under home, we're going to put this at 20. This is cool. Yeah. So 20. Then from 20 now, we want to just go ahead and play around with the color. This is nice here. Okay. Let us look at this. This no bird. This is cool. So I can just go ahead and just resize this. Now I can just go and get it for this one here. So this is for the successful calls. We just have to go ahead and match it up with this very one here. So we duplicate this. We match this with the failed calls. So here we go. And finally, we match this one with the abandoned calls. So we have something like this. What I'm going to do right now is to click over here and go over here, double tap this one. So this is what we have. The next thing we have to do is to make sure we just properly align them. I always love to do this. So we do shape format, align to the top. Right. So here we go. So now we have to do for gender. This time around, I'm going to abandon this one for now. Let's go into the main work. Like, seriously? Yes, into the main work. The main work right now is looking at how to create a chart that can actually be highlighted, right? So the very first thing I'm going to do is just to go over here and go to developer. If you don't have developer, right click and go to customize the ribbon. Then over here, this is a developer. If you don't have it, it's going to be unchecked. So go ahead and check it and click on OK. So you're going to have it right here. So under developer here, if you go over to this particular part, you have insert. Then click on insert, and let us insert this particular combo box right here. So my combo box should be somewhere around here. So now it's blank, which means it's empty. There is nothing here, right? So let's go over here. So over here right now, I have to do something. I'm going to some kind of right click here and go to pivot table option. Then over pivot table option, I think that should be data. Let's do this. I'm looking for something. So it's not under pivot table options. Go over to right click over here and go to show, I think our field settings here, this field settings. So under field setting, click over this particular layout. Before you do this, don't be under here to do it. So if you are here to do it and you could not find, you couldn't find it here, it's not available here. So what you have here is view field settings, and it's going to give you something like this. And this is what you have, show value as here. This will not give you. So make sure when you're doing this particular settings, you are under this particular, dimension here. Right click and go to our field settings. Then now you click on layout and make sure you see show item with no data. It's very important. Show item with no data. Then you click on OK. So if I right click again and go to, pivot table options here, so we might want to disallow the auto fit. This is not important. I'm just going to show you. So for empty cells, which means if it shows items with no data, what do you want to see right there? You want to see 0, right? It's important to customize it. Although you wouldn't see the effect right here until we have a scenario whereby something like that happens. So I just want to customize it on this one, because what I'm about to do right now is to copy here, Control C, and come over here and paste this one in, right? So I might want to insert one more. Then over here, I'm going to separate it. So by picking any color here to separate this one from this one here. Okay, we have this. On this particular one, we do not need the grand total. So what do? Right click and you see remove grand total from here. So this this particular call outcome here, we don't want it. So we want the value. The next thing is to go for the full agent full name and drag it in here. So we have all the agent full name right in here. So this is okay to create our chart, but due to the kind of chart we want to create, this is not going to actually work. So which means we have to actually do something different from what we normally used to do. So, okay, so what I'm going to do right now is to actually create some kind of array. I call it an array, but you don't have to write any formula or any function for that. It's just for you to put an equal sign and highlight this particular environment here. Watch me do it. Equals, if I highlight here now and hit my enter key, this is actually an array, right? So why do we do this? So what's the difference? So if I just feel like deleting from here right now, I can't delete anything from here. The only place I can be to delete is actually over here, right? So I would just love to do something like this. This can be good for our chart, right? So the next thing now is that I want to highlight the top 5. So before I do that right now, I want to go here and right click from here and do sorting, largest to smallest. So this one will be sorted as well. So once sorted now, I can just say top 5 from here. I want to highlight the top 5. So over here, call it selected agent here. Selected agent. So we're adding 2 columns now. So this top 5 here, we don't have to use formula to determine this top 5. We just can go ahead and reference this and drag it down to give you 5 like this here. So select this environment, Control 1 and number. Then do comma separator, so with no decimal numbers. So here we go, we have something like this, right? Okay, before we proceed, over here, I'm going to name it, let us name this one. So I'm going to name this particular part here, filter. So once I named it to filter, I can bold it. Then I'm going to have something here. So let's go over here now. This particular one now, we go over to format, control, So under format control now, so input range, what do we want to have inside here? We go over here. We want to have this here. You can select this one. You can select this one, any one of your choice. Let's go with this particular one here. Select it. So how many do you want to show per drop down? So I have 13 of them, I presume. I'm going to count how many agents I have. So if you want to show a drop down, you have it here. Otherwise, you can put 13 here to show everything. Then I'm going to go ahead and click OK, but not now. So over here, we have cell link. So if we go over to analysis again, we can link it over here. So let's go back. Now it's 0. Nothing is there, blank. So if I now click over here now, I can see all my agents. So if I select this one now, it should give me a particular number like 2. Yes, of course. So if I go back and choose something from here right now, we should see something different. Now we have 9 here. So we want to know who is this particular person. What this is giving us right now is just giving us some kind of position, right? It's giving us the position. So who is sitting in row number 9? That is what we want. So over here, I'm going to do Ctrl B to bold it. So to find who is sitting on the row 9 now, so here I'm going to do position agent. You got it right now. So, and total calls. So we have gotten the position by just, linking it right here. So we want to get who this particular person is. So to do that is something very simple. I mean, very, very easy. So we can use 2 different functions. That is index and match. With our equal sign, we use index here. The index is looking for the array. The array means what do you want to return? Where is it sitting? So it's sitting here, right? So because we're not copying down or wherever it is, we just have to keep going. We don't have to do cell referencing. So with my comma right now, it's asking me for the row number. So the row number right now can actually be match function. So the match function now, if I want to avoid this, I can just put 9 over here and go ahead and close this and hit my enter key. Now it gives me this particular person here, right? So let's count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It got it right. It got it right. So what happens if I go over here now and choose to go for this one, then come back here, this still remains what it is. So instead of me to actually start doing it manually, I can rather go ahead and link this one to it. So can you see now? It's getting something from here. So which means we don't have to use match function. So if we want to go by match function, we can use match function, but in this case, match function is not important. Even if we have to go by match function, we would have to some kind of have here a supporting column. This works. So we are using index and as well the number this one return to return whatever is being selected from here, which means it works. All right, so what is the next thing? The next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we some kind of return the total calls of this particular agent right here. So what do you think is going to work? In this particular situation, the VLOOKUP cannot work because the VLOOKUP, I'm thinking, will the VLOOKUP works? Yes, of course, the VLOOKUP will do the work here and the XLOOKUP will do the work. Let me show you how to use the VLOOKUP to get it done and as well the XLOOKUP. For the VLOOKUP, we go to VLOOKUP. The VLOOKUP is looking for the lookup value, this here, comma. So the table array, this here. Now the column index number, which is 2. Then 0 for the exact match. Then I hit my enter key. I have this value right here that corresponds to this one. So if I have to use XLOOKUP right now, it's going to be XLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP is looking for the lookup value. Here we are looking for this particular one here. So the lookup array, where can we find it? So you come over here, search for this in the midst of these names here, comma. So what do you want me to return? Return something from here when you find match. So you can go ahead and close and hit our enter key. We have the same exact number. So it depends on which one you want to go for. VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, so whichever one you want to go for. So now we have this, we have to quickly do, which is not really important though. So number, then just do this. All right, so once we have gotten this done now, we actually talk about selected agent right here. We have to create a highlight. So you might not know the importance of what I'm about to do, but it's something that's going to work for you. So let's come over here now. And once we are here, I'm thinking, so we are going to do equals if this particular one here is equals to this very one here. So this time around, we don't want this one to move when we copy down, but we want this one to keep moving down. So for that, we don't have to lock N7. So for this one, F4 key will lock this down absolutely for us, right? So if that is true, what do you want? You want to get this one here. So because we don't want this one as well to move, we have to do absolute cell locking again, right? Otherwise, what do we want to see? We want to see nothing but blank. So we just do this and close and hit our enter key. So watch if I copy this down here. So we now have this here. Let's go ahead and change this randomly to any one of them. Here we go. So now this is where it is. The VLOOKUP and the XLOOKUP do return the same exact thing. Can you see now? So the position here is actually 8 and we have it return something like this. All right, so now it is time for we to start building our chart. So how do we go about it? So we can select this particular environment now, go over here and click on Insert. From Insert, we go over to this particular one and we choose to go with this. So we have something like this. So if you look at it right now, it starts the value from the lowest to the highest. So, sorry, which is not really cool. So what do we do and how do we correct this? So first of all, I'm going to take off this particular axis and the count of calls here, I'm going to take it off. So we want to turn off the grid lines. So we have something as clean as this. So to correct this now, double click or Control 1, then click on this particular axis here, the y-axis here. Let's go over here and go to axis option. Once you are there, we can click on category in reverse order. Can you see it now? So once we click on it, we have something like this. Beautiful. So we can now click on this particular one now. Let's go. Let us hide this one for the time being. So we can right click over here and click on select data. So when you do select data, you can move this one away and click on add. So once you click on add, we come over here, we can go ahead and select this particular top 5 here. Then over here, make sure you wipe off what is here. Then select this particular environment. So it actually helps you to highlight this particular part here. Go ahead and click on OK. Okay, now we have one more. Click on add again. Then this time around, selected agent. Then wipe off whatever is sitting right here. Then go ahead and select this particular environment again. So now you have under layout over here. So let's go ahead and click on OK. OK here. So once we have gotten this done now with my Control 1, I can come over here and do overlapping by doing 100%. Then we can just make sure we close the gap a little bit. Something like this would be cool, right? So we have the 3 different colors here. So now we have to agree on the color we want to use for our dashboard right now. So let us look at the 3 colors we're going to use for our dashboard. So the first color should actually be orange color. That is for highlight. So I can do here, highlight should be orange color. So normal color should be something like light gray. And for success, so we should do green. So second highlight. Oh, no, not second highlight. So selected agent should actually have dark green. So now I have specified the colors I want right now. Don't pick too much random color. All this color has relationship, and it's going to make our dashboard to look okay. Now let's do it from here. So we're going to cut Ctrl X to cut this away. Come over here. I'm going to paste this over here. So look at what happens when I actually select this. So this one gets highlighted. So over here now we have to some kind of look at how we can some kind of change its color. So the color for the highlight we want to use right now should be an orange color. So we are going to use the color code to do that. So with my Ctrl 1, I come over here, I can come over here and do more colors. So with more colors, now over here we have to change this particular path. So what I'm going to do right now is to do hash EA53532. 1. So if you want to use the RGB, here we have 2348333 here. So now we have this orange color. If I click on OK right now, so there we go. So on this particular one, which is the highlight for whichever agent has been selected from here, so we can go over here and click over here now, and let's go for a particular green color. So if I select this, this can give me what I want, but I want to go ahead and do more colors and some kind of customize the way the green looks. So let's go click on OK. All right. Something like this looks cool. Now over here on this one, we want to make sure we actually select a particular color that will make sure we have something good. So once you highlighted this now, don't highlight from here. Just come over and highlight this particular one. Then to highlight for those ones that is behind this particular part here. Then let's go over to this particular part. And now we choose this. We can go with this particular one. So here we go. So if you want to turn on the data label, so don't click on this one to turn on the data label. Click on this one and come over here to select this one and data labels. Here we go. We have something like this. So what will happen if I randomly choose any one of my choice now? You can see we have a highlight. You might not know the effect of the highlight we have right now until we actually create it to an extent. You now see why we have the highlight. Okay, the next thing we need to do right now is for we to actually get any of this. So let me just take this particular card here and drop it down over here. So now we have to change the height and the width. So let's be on the same page. So over here, let's go through home here. So we can do 5.23 by 3.07. So here we go. We have something like this. So for now, I can go over here, go to view and turn off the formula bar. So here we go. We have something like this. So the rendered corner is too much. I can just go ahead and reduce it. The more you increase the size of your card, then the rendered corner will keep on, getting out of way. So just reduce it a little bit. So what I would do now for me to have this particular place to some kind of be on the same level, I'll hold my Control key, select this particular top one, go over to the top and click on shape format, align to the left hand corner. So now here we go. We have something like this. Okay. I might want to just take this down a little bit. Okay, we have something like this. So now we can just go ahead and remove the border and as well the outline from here. So here we go. I can bring this, it's going behind, right click and bring to front. So we keep this around here. So let's keep this around here. So if I now choose any of this one now, it highlights for me. So the highlight color is something I don't like here. I'm going to change it, but for now, let us leave it at this. So once we have done this right now, we want to see what percentage representation are the highlighted one right in here, and what is the percentage representation of the unselected or highlighted one here, right? So how do we do that? Quickly, let's go back. So over here now, I can actually say, I can title. I'll type in title here. So before we do that, let's come over here. Because we're going to be needing this one later after all, turn on the formula bar. Here we go. So once you have turned it on, so we can come over here now. I will just name this one to filter. So just remember this, filter. Whenever we call filter, it will actually take the effect of this particular one, right? So this one I'm going to name it selected underscore agent. So now this is very important. So whenever we are out of here, specifically if we have scrolled far away from here to the right hand corner, we don't have to go back there to select it. We can just go ahead and some kind of, call that particular name we actually added. So we have title here. So now we need to do some kind of chart here for top 5 and others, right? So chart for top 5 and others. So what I'm going to do right now is just for me to say, okay, I want to see successful calls. Again, I want to see others, right? So if I do this now, what I'll do to get the successful calls now is just for me to say here. So here is my top 5 calls. Here is the others. So what I'll do now is just to say here, sum of this particular value here. You can decide to select it up to this level, no problem. Then you close and divide it here by the sum of the total of this. So once you have done that, you hit the enter key, Ctrl 1, then it gives you access to go over for percentage. Then we can do here, click on OK. So over here now, for we to get orders, so what we can do is just to do here equals 100% minus this. So we have for orders. So if you add this particular two together, we should have 100%. If it doesn't give 100%, that means something is wrong, right? So this is what you need to do. So right now, we actually need to create a chart that will help us to actually visualize this. So very, very important. So let us look at the kind of chart that will be good to actually get this visualized. So once you have it selected, go over to the top ribbon, then click on insert here. Then from insert, let's go over to this chart. So I would love to just use this recommended chart here. Then I can see it from here nicely. So go to all chart. So when you get to all chart now, so you click on this particular one, then now you are going to use this very chart right here to get this done. So this chart, oh sorry, I'm still double click on it. Let's go back. Now click over insert here, click on recommended chart and go to all charts. So click on this one. If you look at this now, this gives us this. So this can actually do it, but it's not going to give us what we want. So instead, let us go ahead and do something like this that takes it from 0 to 100. Otherwise, you would have to customize this particular one to fit what you want. So we already have this one that gives us something like this. So if I click on OK right now, which one did I do? Why am I doing this? Let's do it again. We want to go ahead and insert. We'll go to others. We click on this. So we click on this one here. Now we select this and click over here. Now we have this. So if you look at it right now, it's from 0 to 100. This is what it gives you. So you don't have to tamper with this one. Just go ahead and actually remove this one from here. And now, so for this particular one now, we don't need it. We can just go ahead and turn off this particular axis off. So the chart title, we don't need it. So this particular grid lines and the legend, we don't need it. We're going to create our own legend ourselves. So now we have this. We can Ctrl X to cut it away from here. So once we get here now, I paste this here. I can go over to, let's click on this particular part. Let's go over to here. You can make it fill the whole space. Then over here, we turn off, select it again, then no fill, no line. So we can just make it smaller. So before we finally make it smaller, this particular part represents the top 5. So we have to give it the same color we have right here. So we come over here, we select this particular color for the top 5. So this one represents orders, which is this particular one here. We have to give it the same color, which is this very one here for orders, right? So we have something like this. So once we have this now, we can just go ahead and some kind of make it smaller. Not too, yeah. Okay, we click over here, we do data labels. So now we have to match it with the right color. So let's go over to text options. So we put it on white. Then leave this one on black. So here we go. We have this, we can bring it down right here. Can you see it now? Bring it down here. And we do this. So the next thing we have to put right here right now is the legend, right? So let us create our own legend, as I've said earlier. Insert, you go to text and text box here. So over here, I'm going to type in calls by top 5 agents. So once we have this now, we can say no fill. Control 1 again. So no fill, no outline. Then for the text, we want to select this same thing. So let's go over to the top ribbon, insert illustrations, shapes, we pick up circle. Hold the shift key to draw a perfect circle like this. Then we want to go ahead and make the fill to give us the same color here. So for the outline, we don't want it. So we're going to take this one and keep it somewhere around around here and duplicate it and keep this particular one somewhere around here. Then for this one here, we just have to duplicate it again and keep this particular one at this particular part here. So for this particular one here, we're going to do orders. So orders right here. So once we have done that now, we have to change the color. So let's go over here and change its color to this particular one. So here we can just reduce it and bring it up to this level here. So once we have done that, select this particular one. So let's just go ahead and match it with the color. So we match it with this particular color here. Can you see it now? So we have created our legend. If I go ahead and turn off this particular formula bar here now, so you see, here we go. So you can see the top 5 contributed, 69% to the total calls. So while others, it's just, I think like 8 of them is actually giving us just 8 to 9 of them giving us just 30%, 31%. So, which is nice insight. All right, everyone. So we have gotten this done now. The next thing we have to do is to make sure we create a highlight. This highlight here has to do its work. So the work of this highlight is to show us the success rate of the agent. So how do we do this? I think it's something very simple. Let's go ahead and do it. So if we go through this particular part now, you can see over here we have achieved this particular part. So we have achieved this particular part to an extent, not everything. So now we have achieved this to 100% right away. So it is time for we to actually start to create this particular part and the ones beneath it. So let's do it. So what we don't have here now is actually title, which is really not something good. So I can just go ahead and duplicate this particular one here, Ctrl D to duplicate it. So once done, I'm going to keep this over here and stretch it. And now we have to type in total calls by agents. So on this one, I'm going to make it a bit bolder. Let's do something like this. So I might want to centralize it in the middle. So here we go. We have something like this. Okay. So next again is for me to get this one duplicated for what I'm about to do right now. So just keep it around here for the time being. So now we have to go all the way to analysis. Okay. So we want to use the previous pivot table, which is this particular one. We can copy this one from here. So if I go over here now, I can paste it somewhere around here. Yeah, on this line, Ctrl V to paste it. Over here, I can create a margin between them like this. So now this one starts from here. So what are we about to do? We're about to actually see if we select this, any of this here, like Ray here. So Ray should give us the percentage of the success or calls he has against others, right? So how do we do that? Let's go back here now. So now that we are here, the next thing we have to do to achieve this is to actually bring in all the calls we have. So which means we are going to go over, right click, show field list. Now we have the field list showing up here. So let me clear this up. Right click again, show field list. So we have this showing up. So we want to get call outcome. That is call outcome, and drag it on the column area. I told you we're going to use all those boxes, right? So I drag it over here. So now we have this. So this particular grand total is not needed. Right click and go ahead and remove grand total. So we need those particular three right here: abandon, fail, and success. You get it now. So there is something you have to understand now. So if you look at it, this particular abandoned call and the failed calls, they are calls that did not, become successful. So abandon is actually something different. When we say call is being abandoned, which means it might not be picked at all, or before the agent could pick it, the caller had dropped. Maybe it could be as a technical issue whatsoever. So while this particular fail, the failure here means the call was picked, but they could not reach maybe an agreement level, or if they are trying to make a purchase, so they could not actually make the purchase due to one or two reasons. So the call fails, there was no success based on what the client wants. Or maybe if the client is trying to get something fixed, they could not fix it and all of that, so it will be recorded as fail. And the successful one is where we were able, or the agent were able to actually meet up the expectation of the client. You get it right now. So what am I saying here? In essence, we're going to combine these particular two together to be the calls that are not successful. So we're going to add more columns here. So here's going to be percentage of successful calls, and here is going to be orders, right? So how do we calculate this now? It's something very simple. I'm going to take this particular number here and divide it by the sum of these particular two numbers right here. Then I close this and hit my enter key. I have something like this. I can just go ahead and drag this down. If I double click here right now, you can see, here we go. So let me just highlight this environment here and do Ctrl 1. Let's do percentage, and here we go. So no decimal places. Okay, now if I want to get orders right now, I have done this before. We do equals 100% subtracted from this here. And if I hit my enter key, it gives me 75. I can just go ahead and just copy this down. So here we go. Oh, it seems we have issues. Let's see what the issue is. Trying to look at something here. So what seems to be the issue here? So I think I can redo this again. Let us remove this away from here. We're going to have 100% here, no problem. So we just have to do this particular number here. We divide it by the sum. So the sum should actually not be the sum of this particular two alone, but the sum of everything, right? So we go ahead and hit enter. So if I just go ahead and copy this down now, so it should give me something like this, not the other way around. Can you see now? We now have the correct value right here. This is what we want exactly. So once we have achieved this right now, the next thing we have to do is to look at how we can actually get for a particular call. So over here, if I come over here now and do equals, so and do filter, so it's for. Do you understand this right now? If I do selected agent here, now is this. So which means I'm selecting something from here. The position is 4. That is why we have this particular 4 right here. Now we have this. So what we need to do right now is to actually, get the call success of this particular person and as well the order. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to type in here. So successful call, then orders, right? So to get that now, you know what we can use? Let us use XLOOKUP. We have tried VLOOKUP and it works. So XLOOKUP looking for value here. So now we need to look for the array. The array should be, where can we find this, right? So it's going to be from this environment. So what are we looking for? What do we want to return? Want to return something from here. So go ahead and close and hit the enter key. Then you try as much as you could to do Ctrl+1. Then you do percentage, no decimal number. So we have 20%, right? So 20% now, we need to actually get for orders as well. So to get for orders, you can actually copy this one, copy all of this and actually push it into here. Double click and move this one to here and hit your enter key. Then you have to just quickly do the formatting of this one. So, all right, so we have something like this. If you plug this one to this one now, it should give you 100%. So, which is exactly what I have right here. You can say it, right? So the next thing we have to do right now is to look at what kind of chat can actually communicate this for us, very importantly. So over here, I'm going to do highlight, go over to the top ribbon, insert, and I'll rather use this particular do not chat here. So my success is this particular 20%, while this particular part here is actually the orders, right? So Ctrl X to cut it away. Over here, we can paste this. Now make it a little bit smaller. So we have to go ahead and take off all the axes we don't want. Title, legend, all turned off. So if I double click now, I have this up. So quickly I have to remove the fill and as well go ahead and remove the line. Click on this one to remove the line. No line as well. So once we have done this now, we want to actually use green to some kind of show this. So we click over here, we click, and if I choose this now, that was because I did not properly select it. So you have to select this one, double click until you see this particular color here appeared here before you can be able to change it. Let's go for this. This is what we have. So I want something more brighter than this. You can go over here So more colors. And now we have to go through here and bring it down a little bit. Let's click on OK. So we have something like this, but this kind of green is not something I really want. Let me select a different kind of green. So I think I can remember I have a particular green in mind. Let us use this hash code. So over here, click, and we have to some kind of customize here. So EA 5321 5321. So just go ahead and click on OK. What did I do? Sorry. EA5 3 2 1. No, I think I got it wrongly. I can't remember this code again. Okay, I think it's gonna be something different. Let's do 43 AF, then 74. So exactly, this is what I want. So here we go. We have something like this. So on this particular one now, this is for others. So for what is not selected, I want to match it with this particular one. So let's select this area and we go with this. So now we have to be on the same page. So let us look at how the height of this one and the weight as well. So let's go over here. This, so 1.74. We do that by 3.45. Now, here we go. So I'm going to click on this particular one, go over here. You can play around with the hole. So I'm going to keep this one somewhere around here. So look at what happens when I select this. It's changing. Can you see? Almost 90-something%. All right. Once we have achieved this, the next thing we have to do right now is to some kind of, let's do it. Then we'll put the title on it. So the title has to be dynamic title. So let's go over here and create a dynamic title. So the dynamic title now should be here. I think over here. What could it be? Okay, let's put title here. So the title now should be equals this space and close, then can do call outcome. If I hit my enter key now, I have Samuel Smith call outcome. So go back here now. Let's get this one. Then we keep it somewhere around here. We go over to view and we select this one. Then over here, we have to bring in the title. So quickly click on this particular one here. Click over here, go over here and apply it. So can you see it now? So what I don't have now is that this particular chart, this particular box here is not aligned properly with this one. I'm going to hold my control key to select both of them. Go to the top, shape format, align, you align to the bottom. Oh no. Now let's do align to the top. Okay, now we should have it equally aligned properly. So now I'm going to bring this one down. Then always select this and go over here to do proper alignment. If you want to have a good job, align to the bottom. So nicely done. So next again is for me to just duplicate this one, make it a bit smaller, and do another duplicate again. So on this one here, I'm going to pick the percentage that is equal to the success, which is this 91% here. So let's go ahead and take it to 1 decimal number. So here we go. So once we have done this now, we just have to quickly go over here. So we have to make this one bigger because it's something that should be on focus. So let's go ahead and do 40. So 40 looks good. We select the same exact color, this very color here for it. Can you see it now? So I'm going to keep it somewhere around here. So over here now, so I'm going to type in call were successful. So keep this beneath this very one here. So 90.6% calls were successful. Should we be calls? Yeah. So whenever we make any changes here, 20%, 89%. So one beautiful thing is this, it highlights who the agent is. And over here, it gives you the percentage of its call success. So let me show you something over here. Look at this particular one here now. So if I go ahead and just select this, so we have the call success to be at 20%. And look at how many calls he received, 40,000 calls. So when we try to compare it to this particular person that has just 10,000 now, let's just look at what we're going to find. So now just 10,000 calls, he has almost 90%, call success. So you can see it's not all about how many calls is being received by an agent, it's how many calls we converted and stuff like that, right? So this is going to give us a lot of insights. You can see over here, just 4,000 calls, 89%, whereby those ones with more calls, they're not giving us, good turnover. I don't know how to call it. All right, so this is what we need to do right in here. The next thing we need to do right now is to actually look at the average rating and as well the average call duration for every single agent. So right now, this is going to be some kind of dynamic. Whenever we select this now, I want to see the average rating for whoever is being selected. You get it right now? So let's get this one here, duplicate. Let's go here, format. So let's do 0.4 by 3.45. So something like this is going to give us what we want. So now we have to change the color. Let's go over here. So I think I'm going to go with this color here. So once I have this now, just create a little space for it. So I'm going to hold my control key, select this particular one, and I'm going to float it to the left-hand corner. So we have this, right? So duplicate it and keep this one around here. Hold your control key. Now float it to the left-hand corner again. So here we go. We have this. All right. What we want to show here now on this particular first one is going to be the average customer rating. So to do that now, we can copy this one from here. So let's go ahead and paste this one over here. So create a demarcation for it. So on this one now, we just have to bring back the this was not so this one now was not pasted as a pivot table. It was just pasted as normal table. So the reason for that is just because we did not select everything from the top here, right? So now let's do it again. So we can now go ahead and paste it. So we create that demarcation over here. So if we now right click here, we can now see this particular show field list. Then we can drag this particular one off it. So we're looking for rating. So we have agent rating here. If we drop our agent rating here, we take off this particular one. So we have the rating here. So the rating shows us a summarize. So what we can do now, we're going to show the average rating. That is all we need. So we do average, click OK. So this is what it gives us. So we can decide to just show this. So 4.3, 0.3, 0.2, all that. So this is the rating for every agent. So the next I'm going to create right now is the average call duration. So I can just go ahead and copy, paste it here, then take off this particular one. Then the call duration, you drag it over here. So if you look at it, it's going to give you something very huge. We don't want this. So you can right click and go to field settings. Oh, no. Click over here. Then we do average. So we have the average right in here. Okay, now how do we go ahead and show this up? That is what's important now. So we quickly need to show here. I'm gonna do selected agent. So here's my selected agent. I will do the same thing for this particular one. Selected agent. So here is my selected agent, right? So once I've gotten this done now, the next thing is for me to look at the average rating of this particular person here. So I will do XLOOKUP. So look up for this value. So you can find it over here. So once you find it, give me a match from here. So I have this. So we control 1, number, something like this. So over here we do the same thing again. So we can do VLOOKUP here. We did XLOOKUP there. So the VLOOKUP looks for this. Inside here, return from second, column, 0, close, hit the enter key. So now you have this. You can come from here and reduce it. So it's going to take you just a little while. Okay, we have something like this right now. So I'm going to put a title here now. So the title should actually be, for title, you can use a function to create your delimiter. So I think that is text join. So text join now, we actually show our delimiter here with a space, comma, then skip blank. Now we reference this. I'm going to put a comma right here. So inside here, I'm going to do average customer rating. So we close and hit our enter key. Can you see it now? So if I want to use the same thing now, I can just copy. So I paste this over here, double click, come over here and remove this. Oh, it's even the same thing, we can use it, but nevertheless, we can just go ahead and match it up. So we can just come over here now, average, instead of average call, we rather use average customer rating. We're going to use average call duration. Average call duration. So inside bracket, we do show that it's in minutes. So here we go. We have something like this. So it is time for you to set this visualization. So all I need to do now, capture this. Go over here, close to the left-hand corner. So keep this around here. It's going behind, right click and bring to front. So when we bring to front now, we're going to set it to white. So here we go. We have this over here. So quickly I want to match it up with what I have in here. So you can now go ahead and use something like this. So let's go with this. So I'm going to duplicate it and keep this one over here. Then we just need to go ahead and pick up the second one. So all I have to do is to click on this one and copy the same format on this one here. Okay, so now that we have this, if we change this now, it changes, but the values are not here. Let's go get it. So you can just duplicate it out of these ones here. So let's get for our average calls. So we go ahead and pick this one. So you can make it a bit smaller. Let's go over here. So make it in white. So duplicate this, have this over here. Let's go pick it up. So you can click on this one and go ahead and match it up. You have to expand this, keep it somewhere around here. So we are done with this. So whenever we make any change here, we now see the average call duration is actually 19.7%. Okay, this is what we have. So let us now look at what are the products discussed on calls. So over here now I'm going to do duplicate of this card and bring it up here. So let's go ahead and take off this. So now to make sure it's actually fit to the bottom, I'm going to just do this. Can you look at what I've done now? Then I'm going to select this particular one first. Then align to the left hand corner. Nicely done for me. So the next thing is for me to select it and select this particular one. And I'm going to align to the bottom. Nicely done. Then now I can click over here and create this particular spacing for it. So can you see what I have now? This is beautiful. Okay, the next thing now is for me to look at how we can actually bring in the chart here. So if we go back over to this particular part here now, you can now see that we have achieved this particular one. And as well, we're able to bring in the rating and the customer call duration. So right now, this particular product discussed right now, I want to see which particular product we discuss, what is the success rate versus the failed one. So let's get back here quickly. So on this one now, we're going to go ahead and copy from here. Copy this one from here and paste it over here. So if you look at this particular demarcation I'm adding now, it helps me to separate it, like know what is standing or what is sitting on a particular column. I just love it though. So I wouldn't have everything in one single, whatever. So now once we have this now, so we're going to remove this particular one away from here. So we have this. So instead of me to show rating, I can just decide to remove this field from here and just go to my data or even the color ID. You can drag it here and default it to count. So now it's on count. So once we have this on count, the next thing we have to do is to make sure we some kind of format this without any decimal number. So here we go. So right away, we need to bring in product discussed into here. So we have this, right? So what is this particular blank for? Product discussed, we have blank. Let's go over here, sorry, on the data path, and look at the product discussed from here. So if you look at it, we have some blanks right here. So this particular blank has to do with abandoned. So which means there are no product, discussed because the calls were abandoned. So either the caller some kind of dropped before the agent picked it up, or maybe network issue or some kind of technical issues. So there is no discussion, so it's going to be blank. So that was how we got this particular blanks right here. So quickly, I'm going to come over here and remove it. Then click on OK. So once I've gotten this done now, we want to have it for success and fail. So we just have to do outcome. Then now we're going to make use of these particular filters. So I drop it on the filter area. So I'm going to click over here now and choose select multiple. Now success is selected. I'm going to just click on OK. Once I've done this right now, I want to do this for every single agent so that I can be able to some kind of come over here. If I make a selection, it will actually give me for a particular agent right here, right? So what do we do now? We can just go ahead and just pick up this particular one and drag it and put it at this particular part right here. So do you see that? So we have it split to this level. All right, once we have gotten this done now, the next thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and copy. So Ctrl C. Then I'm going to paste this one over here. So it's just for me to go ahead and click on this one and disallow this one. If I select abandoned right now, abandoned is actually blank. Let's try it. So if I select and click on OK, there is nothing here. So for that, we don't have to do that. So we're going to just select failure here and click on OK. So now we have different values here. You can see what we have here for this particular person. All right. Once we have achieved this, the next thing right now is to look at how we can actually switch between them whenever we make a selection of any of this particular callers, or sorry, call agent or agent right here. So what do we do? The next thing now is for we to know which particular agent is being selected. So we put equal sign here, selected agent. This is it, right here. Okay, once we have this agent here now, we are going to some kind of, I'm going to make it bold. So over here, I want to some kind of come over here and select this and drag this down. All right. So if you look at this particular setting I did from the start of the video, it's very important. So if I go over to this particular field settings right here, right now, and I click over layout and print, so I have to do this show item with no data. It's very important. We have to do this here, show item with no data. So we've done it. Let's go over here. Do show item with no data. It's very important. So show item with no data. So we do this one. So if I go over to somewhere around here, we have to do the same thing to this particular one. So show item with no data. So I want to make sure I do it for every part of it. So please do the same thing. Otherwise, you're going to have something weird. Right? So I think we're done. So let's just go back here now. We are right here. Now the agent selected is actually this particular agent right here. So what I'm going to do right now is going to be, let's bring this one down. So products discussed. So now we're going to make sure this one is actually a success. So this one is going to be failure, right? All right, so once we have gotten this, we have to fill up this and make it dynamic. The question is this: how do we go about it? So what we're going to do right now is to actually find the position of this particular, person here or agent here. So now I'm going to find position. The position is going to be equals, we have here filter. Don't forget this. If I hit my enter key, it gives me this 4. In case you don't understand how I got that, let's go to view and turn on the formula bar. So if I click over here and go to filter, it's going to jump me here. So this is where we actually got it created, right? So now going back here right now, we have this particular number here. Now over here for success, we're going to pick something from here. So for failure, we're going to pick something from here onto here. So if you look at it, if I go ahead and select, let's say Michael Page here, I go over here right now. So we have the position to be on 7. So we want to return the total success calls right in here for this particular page. So how do we do it? So we can use a function called offset to return column 7, right? So I would like to keep it simple. Let's go over to this particular first one here. So now here we have one. Then we are going to return something from here. But because we're returning something from success, so we're going to take up this very one. So let's do it. So over here, I'm going to do offset. So with my offsets, it's asking for reference. That is the starting point. Here is the starting point here. So if I put a comma right now, you can see over here, the comma says row. So we have to give it how many rows do we want it to go down. So I want to skip this because I want to copy down. There is no point in me giving it the numbers of rows. So on that comma to skip it. Now for the column right now, we want to return something from the first column, which is going to be right here. Then we have to reference this. Now, because we're going to be copying down, we have to lock this down absolutely. F4 key, now close and hit the enter key. Then let's us go ahead and copy this down. So now we can verify to see if this is actually 100% correct. So going up right here right now, we have 1303392. So the same thing right in here, which means it's correct. But mind you, if I change to, let's say we go for this particular Liam. So, and I click over here. So let's see, Liam is actually sitting on column 8. Then let's see if that is true. So Liam now here is sitting on column 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on 5. Can you see it now? On 5, which means there is some kind of, mixed up somewhere. So where is this particular mixed up coming from? Let me show you something. If I scroll to this end, this was what we copied. And if I right click over here, from control, then you can see I'm going to click on OK. Now go over here. This was what we copied to actually fill in that particular combo box. I'm going to copy it and scroll to this end here. Then paste it right here. So with this pasted here right now, if we try to count from here now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is sitting in row 8. Now, this particular one now, we retrieved something from row 8, but unfortunately, this is not going to give us the exact call agent. So let us try to look at which particular call agent is this. So if I go over here now, I'm going to do offset here. So with my offset, my reference now is going to be this very one here, not this electronics. So comma, comma to skip the row. So for the column, I'm going to reference this. And if I hit my enter key now, do you see what I'm talking about? So we have a different person entirely. And what we want to return something from is this particular Liam right here. So how does it come here? So this particular one is on a row level. So the the setup is different. So when we actually come to this particular part, there's a mixed up somewhere. So over here, if you look at this, it tallies with this particular one. So this drill clay is not actually second over here. Can you see now? It's now third over here. So how can we fix this in case we want to return something from this same thing here? It's very simple. So which means we are not going to use this particular number here. So what we can do right now is to generate a new number that we can actually use, which means a new position that we can actually use. So let me show you how to generate that. So over here, I'm going to do match function. So you understand what match function does. Match function does not return something from a particular column. What it does is to return the position of what you reference to it. So the match function is looking for the lookup value. So this one here, I'll now tell it to like, okay, you know what? Can you just help me go over here now and try to find the position of this? So put a comma 0 for the exact match, close, and hit the enter key. Now the position here for this particular person is actually 5. Do you understand that right now? So now while this one here is returning different position, we come over here, this one returns 4. So this particular array here is on the column level is sitting on 9 rather. So what we can do right now is to just double click on this one, and over here we can switch this to this one here. If I hit my enter key now, I should have the correct return right in here. So this might look a little bit complex, but it is what it is. So over here I'm going to show that this one does not give us what we want, so we're going to go for this particular one. I'll make it this green. Okay, this is the one we are using right now, not this one. This one is actually what this particular part here returned. So what we try to do right now, we try to get a new position of this particular array here, and the position where it is sitting is actually on 9, but over here it's sitting on the 4th position. So we can't use this to actually make that. So we have changed our mind to actually get a new position. Ordinarily, if we were to some kind of return what is sitting on this particular part here, is this particular Katrina here. So let us look at Katrina. Katrina is sitting almost on the 12th position over here. Do you get it right now? This is what it is. So I can actually go ahead and take this off. Now we have the correct version of it. So what I'm going to do right now is to get for failure, offset. So with the offset right now, I'm going to go ahead and say, here is my starting point, comma. For the row, skip it, return that comma. For the column, grab it. So F4 key because we're going to copy down. So if I hit my enter key, I have this. You can just go ahead and copy it down. So if you want to verify if this is true right now, we have 1656515. So we have to look for array. So can you see it now? Check out what is here and compare it to what is sitting right here. So verify to see what you have. We have the exact number right now because we have actually given it the actual match. So this is what you can do to actually have this done. For this particular one here, we don't need it. We can just go ahead and delete it from here. Okay, so now we're going to create our chart with this. So quickly, we have to make sure we have a comma separator right on this. Over here, I'm going to highlight here and select insert. Let's go over here. So I'm going to go with this particular, I think 100% stacked bar chart, something like this. Okay, so once I have this now, Control X to cut it. Over here, we can just go ahead and Control V to paste it down. So once pasted it here, once you have pasted it here now, I can double click to bring up this. Now let's take off the outline and the fill color. So now we can take off this particular percentage we have right here is not important. Then the title, we don't need it. We can just come over here and take off chart title. All right, so for the legend, I would like to move the legend to the top. So over here, click and move it to the top. So quickly, let us move it to where it should belong. So adjust it to make sure it fits right in here. Now you have to bring it down for a title to sit rightly. So once you have done that, click over here and take off this particular grid line. Now we have to go over here and make sure we have something like this, right? So we can just open it up a little bit. Okay. All right, so we have something like this. For the success, we want to change the success to match this particular color right here. So we go over here. Now you select success alone. Then we click over here. We go over here. This is border, fill color. For the fill color, we want to go with this particular kind of green. Now for this one, we're going to use a more of gray color. So let's go ahead and choose to use something like this. Now, failure, success. So let's try to see. So go to view. Now click and apply the data labels. So we have to make sure we change this to white. So click on this one, apply the same data label to it. So white will look better. Okay. So we can just increase it so that it can show up very well. So we increase this. So here we go. We have something like this. So whenever I make a selection here, you can see here. So if I select this particular first one, it's highlighted here. So here we have 40,000 calls on this particular call agent. But as you can see, most of the calls, failed on the failure part. So only 20% of it got converted. So by the time I select maybe this person here right now that has just 6,000, the conversion is not really much as well. So we can search for this. Now we have a lot of conversion, just 4,000. And if you can look at what we have here right now, we have a lot of success going on here. Can you see this now? Okay, 80% or 89%, and you can see travel package, numbers of success, loan, numbers of success, and internet package, numbers of success, insurance, followed by electronics. I think we have more success on the internet package right here than any of it, right? Okay, now what is next is to make sure we have the title. So I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate this, bring it over here. Let's go here now. So we can type in title. So over here now we can do equals. I'm thinking I can just make a reference of this. Ole. Let's come over here. So I want to go ahead and turn on the formula bar. So put an equal sign here. Let's go ahead and pick it up. So here we go. So now I'm going to just give it the same format. Okay. So I want to make sure it floats to this end here. So once I've done this now, I can click on this and just let's click on this one and click on this one again. So you have to aim and just drag it down a little bit. Drag it down a little bit like this. This is good. This is good. So we want to create a space to have something else here. So over here now, I can type in, so Katrina product on calls. Okay, once I've gotten this done now, you can just go ahead and just reduce this. something like this. So we have this. So whenever there's any changes here, it actually changes to this, and this is what we have. Okay, now we need to get this again, Control D to duplicate and bring this over here. So quickly, I always love to just bring it down and go over here and resize it. So and some kind of match it with this particular, part here. What we need to do right now is just to make sure we set some kind of height and weight for this one here. It's very important. So click on this one, go over here. Let's go over here. So 2.17. So I want to do that by what? By 3.23. This is what we have. So I'm going to keep it somewhere around here. So now this piece here should be equal to this one. So what I'm going to do now is to hold my Control key and select this particular one. Then go to the top, align top. So here we go. So once I've done that right now, quickly, I'm going to duplicate again and bring this one all the way down here. So I'm going to hold my Control key. Now we just align this one to the bottom. Beautiful. So release it. So we align this, we just do this one to the right hand corner, left hand corner. Beautiful, right? So now we select and we just make sure we have this space here. So now let us build all of this here. I'm going to just go ahead and some kind of Control D, and this one should come over here. So this time around, I'm going to keep this one over here. Hold my Control key by selecting this as well. Now we align to the top. Once done, select this one and select this very one here. So we're going to align this one to the right hand corner rather. That is beautiful. Now for this particular space we have right here, we have to just close it a little bit. So we have to close it, something like this. Now I'm going to bring this one all the way down. Nicely done. So what I'm going to do right now is that I want to have this particular kind of effect right on this. So I will click on this one, go over here, home, this particular format painter. Now I'm going to select this one. Okay, so sorry, I think I did the wrong thing. If I have to do that, it has to be this one. Click on this one. Now click on this one, click over here. So you have something like this. You might want to make this particular part to be a little bit darker than what it is right now. So to get that done, Control 1. So I can move this one anywhere I like. Here we go. So now we have to make sure we select a darker version of it. Let's go with this. So I'm going to just move this one. Then it's going to create an effect like this for me. I love something like this. But what if we just make it a little bit, shift it this way? All right, so if we want to have something like this, so be it. So this is looking good already. Over here right now, what we want to analyze is to analyze the reason why calls were dropped, abandoned, wherever it is. So we go over here now. So all I'm going to do is just some kind of select this particular area, right? So Control C to copy. You can see how I did my selection, right? So copy everything from here. Once you've done that, you just have to go all the way here. So I'm going to paste it right in here, then create a demarcation, right? So now what is next? The next thing I'm going to do right now is this. Don't worry about this when it gives you an error. So it's to click on this one now and right click. Let's go field settings. I'm going to take off this one, then bring it's called resin. We call abandoned reason. Here we go. So drag it and put it right here. So we have this for every single agent, right? So now how do we make use of this? So over here now, I don't want to go for failure. I might want to take off this particular part here. Oh, we have to bring it back. This one, I'm thinking of something. Yeah, if we say reason for call drop, reason. Okay, we don't need to have this particular one here. So we take it off. But when we take it off right now, what we're going to have is this particular part here. So what is this blank for? This blank means those particular calls were picked. Those calls were successful, right? So what you can do now is just to filter away this particular one and click on OK. So there is something you shouldn't forget. Right click here, go to field settings, click over here, and always make sure this one is actually checked. So you have to do this for every part of your work. So the reason why we're doing this is if there is a filter that actually filtered your dashboard and this particular loan does not have any data, it's going to filter it away and you're going to have wrong chart. So for that, you just have to do this every single time. So here we go. Right click and do the same thing to this very one here. Okay, once we are done now, let's go back here now. So over here, we're going to take off this particular part. So now we're going to look for this. How do we do that? We use match. Match helps us to look for this, and we're just going to say from here 0 for exact match, then go ahead and close. So 8, right? So on this particular part here, we have to do offset. So equals offset. So with the offset right now, the reference should actually be this particular one here, comma. So for rows, we don't want to give it rows, so comma to skip it. Now for the column right now, we want to say, okay, for the column, this, and F4 key to lock it down. We can go ahead and close and hit our enter key. So we have 13. If I just copy this down right now, we have something like this. So here we go. It retrieves something from here for us. I believe you understood when we actually explained this particular 5 right here. 5 is actually what is coming out from here, right? So, but we have to match it to give us the right position where this particular name right here, this Liam is sitting. So the position is currently 5, not 8. Also, it is 8 for the previous one we have created, but right now it's 5, right? Okay, if we have done this now, the next thing we have to do is to create a chart with this. Let's go over here, insert. And now we have to create this particular kind of chart. By clicking over here, we go with this one. So quickly, we can do Ctrl X to cut it off from here. And now, Ctrl V to paste it down. And we resize it, adjust it until it meets up what you really want over here. So we don't want to have some of the axes we have right here. Sorry, the title, the gray lines. We don't want it. So over here, I'm going to Ctrl 1, then. So next now is just for we to let's select this particular color for it. Okay, if we have gotten this now, we don't need to have this axis right in here. So the next thing we have to do is to turn on the data label. It's very important. So here we go. It changes. So we just have to bring this down, bring it down. So we click on this one and we double it. We bring this over here. So this one we have the outline and the fill color. So we want to take it off. Okay, so you can save your work. So it's very important. All right, right now what is left is for we to have a dynamic title for this. The title here is not what it should be. So how do we have a dynamic title? Let's go over here now. So right here, you can just type in title. Okay, so for our title now, we want to say here equals inside double quotes reasons why. So now we concatenate this here. So inside double quotes calls. So we hit our enter key. So reason why Ray abandoned calls. So we just have to go over here. So we just need to bring up view and select this area. Click over here. Then we go ahead and do this. So now just have to make sure it sits right here. So select this one. Now let's go ahead and so if you look at it, it cuts off. So what we can do now is just to do something like this. So I'm going to bring this one down. Okay. So can you see what we have now? This is what we need to have right here. So it's okay. Now we want to create a line chart. So this line chart will actually give us the trend line. This line chart is going to be something that you have to watch and learn how you can create something like this. Let's do it. So we go all the way back to our analysis again. This time around, I'm just going to copy this particular. Should I copy everything? Yeah, let's copy everything again. So we've copied everything. We move to this area, paste it over here. So create a margin between them. Okay, so once we have done this now, it'll be easier now because we're going to have 12 months. So now this is not going to be cool. So I want to take this one down, a little bit down, so we can bring it up a bit after all. So now if we are here, we just have to right click and go to field settings. Now we'll take off this. So we have our date here, date of the calls. We need to bring the date of the calls right in here. So here it says this already, there is already data in. Do you want to replace it? I'm thinking of something. So let us take off everything from here. Take off everything. Okay. Now what we need to do now is to bring in our date in here. So have I used any date before now? I'm trying to look at that. So we have not. So if something like this happens, let's say I drag this one in here and it's asking me this now to replace something. I don't want to replace. Okay, maybe it was because it's seen something here. I can wipe off everything from here. Right? Once I've done that, I can just go ahead and bring this here. So now, what happened was because I'm going to Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z to bring this back. So what happened was because it sensed that something was beneath here. This is something you have to understand. When a pivot table senses that there's another maybe data or pivot table beneath it, it will not actually create for you. It will be asking you if you want to replace what is beneath it, specifically if it is going to actually, interfere with all of this, right? So let us see how we can do without taking it off. So put this right here, then click on OK. So now it does not touch here, so nothing happens. What we want here is just the month, so we can just go ahead and get the date off. So we have the month. Then I'm going to bring in my full name into here. Now I'm bringing the full name back here again. So now we have the count of it. This is what we want. So can now go over here and bring this up. So here we go. Right away, I have to make sure I drag this until I have my December. So now, once we have gotten this done, the next thing we have to do now is to actually get in the values. So here is going to be calls. So this calls now, we have to do what we have done before. It's something very easy. So we do the same offset again. The offset takes this as a reference, comma. So for the row, comma, we actually skip it. For the column, pick this one, then F4 key to lock it down. We close and hit our enter key. Now we have this. So to test out this now, if it is correct, I'm just going to select this particular first one. Let's go over here, select this one. So we should have the same thing here, specifically this particular path. If you look at it now, we have 3429, 3429, 3136, 3136 over here. So which means it's correct 100%. This is exactly what we want. Okay, make it bold. All right, if we have gotten this done now, what is next? The next thing now is that we want to actually highlight, the month with the highest value, and as well highlight the month with the lowest value. So on a line chart, how can we easily do that? So that's going to be a little bit weird, right? If you don't know how to do it, you might be thinking it's not possible. So what I'm going to do right now is going to be here, max call and mean call. All right, so once I've done this now to create a highlight, the first thing I'm going to do now is to just do this, right? And create my first line chart here. So I can leave, Excel to suggest for me. So here, correct. So go ahead and grab this. So here is your line chart here. So now if you look at it now, nobody can tell where the max falls to. So if I do this line, I think I can. So the max falls here and the mean falls right in here. So I want to stop people from guessing where the max falls to, because right now this here is actually the max area, and the mean area is this particular one. So how can we make a dynamic, selection of the max and the mean like this? That is exactly what we are about to do, right? So the next thing I have to do right now is that I want to just right click and so change chart type, click over here. Let's go with this one. Click on OK. So we go with this one. That is nice. So let me just move it over here. Now we have to find the max. To find the max right now is something very easy. So we just want to say if. So we're asking question right now. If this particular value here is equals what? Is equals max. So first of all, let us look at what the max does. The max function helps us to retrieve the max value from this particular range right here, which is this one, right? So the if function is now asking if this particular one is equals this here. So what I want you to do now, we log this one up. So we want you to return this, otherwise return blank like this and hit your enter key. Now we can go ahead and copy this down. So it finds where it is equals. This is it here. So instead of us to be doing this, we can actually combine everything together. This works 100%. Let us do for mean in a different way. So now we're going to ask now if this one here is equals. So we type in our mean here, mean. So what is the mean? To find the mean now, the mean is going to be in the midst of this list of numbers. So we have to lock it down with our F4 key. Then once we have done that, now we close and put a comma and say if that is true, return something from here, otherwise give me blank. So if I go ahead and actually do this now, so here the mean falls right in here. So this is dynamic. If I go ahead and change for this person now. So you can see here, the min has changed and the max has changed as well. So do you see this now? So this is what you can do. So over here now, I can just go ahead and some kind of, go ahead and can you see it now? I have just selected and make sure this place gets the min and the max. Control Z, and that way to do it now, if I Control Z now, is to bring this up. So now I'm going to right click here and go to select data. So over here, I'm going to do add. So with my add now, I want to add max calls. So go ahead and take off everything from here and select this particular environment here. Once done now, you're going to have this. So click on OK. Then you can click on add again. So once done, min call. So we take off this one and we select this particular environment here. Then we click on OK. Then finally we click on OK. But if you look at it now, this is not cool. Something is wrong with this. So why are we having this particular, underline, this particular line here? So that was because this one's here, they are zeros, even though while we try not to show anything right here. So what do we do? What if we try to ignore this one? Oh, I think that is not going to work. The only way we can solve the situation to avoid this particular one from coming up now is to make sure we use NA. So here, NA. So we use NA, we close, hit or enter key. Now we drag this down. So one has disappeared, we only have it right here. So we repeat the same thing, and this particular gray color will disappear. So here we go ahead and put NA at where we have this particular double quotes. NA. So we close and hit our enter key. Now if we copy down halfway, can you see? Part of it has gone. Then if we double click, now we only have this highlighted and this one highlighted. All right, this is all we need to do right in here for now. Let's cut it and take it up to this particular path here. So we're here now. We can keep this around here. So for this particular part, I don't need to keep this. I'm going to take it off. Or you can come over here and take off the grid lines. Over here, click and take off the vertical line. So if you look at it now, we are good to go. So we have this, but this is not really giving us what it is that we want to see. What can I do now? I want to actually have max call and the value, min call and the value as well. And I want to actually beautify this particular part right here. So maybe what I can do right now is to just do something like this to make sure you can see it better. So once we have this done now, we can go ahead and change the selection. So let's see here. Okay, now we have nice trend here, nice trend in here. So Control 1 now, come over here. We can go down. We choose to use this particular smooth line. I love it. So once we have gotten this done now, so our focus is going to be on this particular highest value here. So for the highest value, we want to change the color. Let's go over here. Let's change the color to this particular one. So what we have changed now is the line color. So for the fill color, we want, I think, no, it doesn't work. So click back on it again. So once we have done that now, click over here and let's go to the marker. While we are on the marker, we want to take off the fill. No fill for it. No fill for the marker. So now we go down. For the outline, we increase this one. So let us remember what we are increasing this one by. So let us increase this one by just 2 points. Okay, maybe we'll make it like 5 points here. So this is the border. So if I step off it now, I have this here. So now we have to select again. So we go over here, we go to this particular part here. So there is no fill for it. Now, once we have selected our border, we can go all the way down here. Where is this smooth line, of course? So let us reduce the border a little bit. I think I'm missing something. So we have to go to marker here. So while we are on the marker, we click on this particular marker option here. So we choose to actually have this on 12. So 12. So it depends on what you really want. I'm going to have this on 12. So if this is on 12, this is okay. So I want to change the color. I'll go down here and change its color to this very one here. Nicely done, right? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to click on this one. And this one here is the lowest one. I want it to be on this color. So we want to go over here and make sure it's on 12 as well. So once it's on 12, we click back and say no fill. Can you see it now? So when there is no fill, we go all the way down for the border. Put the border on 5. Okay. What did we use here? I think we are using not 5. I think 2 point something. 2.5. So I want to leave it on this particular gray, which depicts low, right? So on this particular one now, what we can do is just to say here, no fill, no border. If I step off it now, it looks like this. I only highlight this particular part. But if you want to keep border right on it, you can come over here now. So you go over to line, you go over to marker, and you select solid, here, right? So we can make it to be some kind of very thin like this here. So can you see this now? So let us take it back to this thing here. Resize it back to 100. Okay, this is how it looks. So this is going to be the change when we decide to make a change here now. We can see it has changed to here. Unfortunately, this we apply to it is solely on its particular selection. So how do we make sure we correct this now? Just click on it once. Let's correct it here. So we want to go over here now and come down straight up to this particular marker here. So under marker option, so we want to select 12. So once that is done, we want to come here now and make sure we are choosing this color. So now we go over to this one and we choose to use 2.5. So now let's change it. So anywhere we choose to select it, so we don't have that particular place highlighted for us. But this is not all we can do. We need to add data label on it. So how do we do that? We can click on it now and go over here and turn on data label for it. So if I click over here now, I can open more options. So over here, we can decide to say we want it to be above or below. So now it's on below. So I love it on below, and I would like to match the color with this particular color here, which is already on it. So we can make it bold. Just make it bold, right? So once we have done that right now, the next thing I'm going to do now is to actually bring in the series name. So mean call. So the mean call has a comma. I don't want the comma. Come over here, choose new line. So here we go. So do the same thing to this particular one here. So go ahead and turn on the data label. Sorry, this, what did I do? Oh no. So Ctrl Z to bring it back. Okay. Now you want to make sure you aim this particular one. Data label, only for that one. Then for the data label now, click on it and make sure you make it bold. And you select this particular same color for it if that is what you want. So select the darker one. Then once I've done that now, I want to go over to here. So Control 1. So now selected, over here, we go ahead and select this particular one, the numbers. So click over here. So choose new line. So we have something like this. So now we have to make sure we click on this, no fill and no border. So if we step off it now, we have something like this. For this one now, we want to make sure we select it to be black or gray, whatever. Something like this. It's cool. So here we go. If I just go ahead and decide to deselect this now. So this is what we have. So we can now see every single month what a trend looks like. So we have the month where he has the mean calls and the max call as well. So here we go. This is what we want. I want to go ahead and do Control 1 and make sure this one's above. So yeah, it's under above. So right. So let us go with the above right here. So once we have done this now, the next thing we have to do is to actually bring in what? The title right in here. So what shall we have right here? So we go all the way back to here, and instead of us to look at this, so here will be equals this monthly call trend. You see this now? So we come over here, we turn on this particular formula bar. Now we're going to go ahead and choose our new title. Apply the same formatting. So whenever I make a change here, so what happened? Okay, now refreshed. So everything works perfectly okay. So now, as you can see, if I go ahead and start to do this now, so my chart, updates automatically. This is what we have. So I want to make sure I make this a bit smaller to show everything. So now this is what we have. So don't forget to save your work, is very, very important. So if this is not showing everything, you can just click on it and try to drag it up to make it go above a little bit, or you can just go ahead and take this up, click on this one and bring this down. Can you see it now? It gives rooms to this particular part to show up very well, and over here now we're good to go. All right, everyone, if you look at what we have right here, we have achieved almost 85 to 90% of what we need to add to our dashboard. The only part that is left right now is actually this particular part right here, which is this very part here. So we're going to be creating two different charts. So the first one is a normal chart, and the second one is going to be a map that shows the state where people actually calling from, right? So let us go to data. So from data right now, you can see we have state right here. This state can actually be on a map and as well on a chart. So we're going to give the end users or the consumers to switch between chart and a map. How do we do this? We're going to write a little bit of VBA. Don't worry, it's something very simple. I'm going to show you how to make it easy. And in case you don't get it, or you don't know how to write it, or you have errors, just reach out to me. I'm going to give you the code, then you can paste it and it's going to work for you, right? But follow me, step by step for you to know how to use the code. In case you want to paste the code, if I send it to you, then you know how to name all your objects. All right, going back to analysis here. Now we're going to copy our pivot table. So, which is going to be, I think all of this here should be copied. Everything here, I'm going to copy it down to here. Ctrl C to copy. Over here, Ctrl V to paste. Then I'm going to just go ahead and do this. Okay, so once I've done this right now, what I need to do is just to actually create a state here. So we're going to take off the month. So we're going to bring the state in here. So here we go. So we have all the states here. So now what we need to do is just to make sure, let me take this off. I'm going to highlight everything, then double click here to open it up. Right here, okay? It's good to go. So now we want to some kind of try as much as we could to make sure it responds to whatever is being selected from here. So to get that done right now, coming down here, I'm just going to make sure I do equals selected agent is this, right? So when we do equals filter, so the filter will give us 3, and if it gives us 3, which means we have to actually get something from here, but this is not going to be the case. It's something different right in here. Can you see it now? So what do? We have to find the position of this particular current one, which means we're going to use this very one here. So I'm going to bold it. So now the new position I'm going to find right now, you know the drill. The match function is going to search for this, comma. The lookup array should actually start from here. We do to this level. So 3, 0 for exact match. And now we have our new position to be 2. So if you look at drill here, so here 1, 2. Now we have gotten this right. The next thing we have to do right now is to actually go ahead and create a drop down of the names. So I'm going to put an equal sign, then I select this particular environment here. That's going to create an array for me. It will split everything down for me, right? So I'm going to do here Ctrl B to bold it, and over here Ctrl B as well. So here is going to be calls. Now we have to retrieve the calls for this particular clay right here, and to do that, you know what it is, offset can be used. So we have to make sure our offset start from here, put a comma on it. So if you look at this now, it's asking for rows. We skip the row by putting another comma again. I want to make sure you're looking at this. Let me start all over again. Then I have to go ahead and turn on the formula bar. So in case you're not seeing what I'm doing here now, you have to pay attention to what is going on right here on formula bar. So I'm going to put my equal sign here. With the equal sign here on the formula bar, we can actually use the offset function. So if you look at it right now, offset. Now the reference, now we can go all the way here and give it our reference with a comma. It switches to rows. Then we have to make sure we skip it. Now column. So for the column, we're going to select this particular one to an F4 key to give it absolute cell referencing. Then we can go ahead and close and hit our enter key. So this retrieves for us the numbers for numbers of calls for every single state right in here. 8151631. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Can you see now? So here we go. This is nice. All right, it will be very difficult for we to some kind of sort this. In case we want to use this for a chart right now, if I go ahead and create a chart with this, look at what's going to happen. So insert, then let's go ahead and create this particular kind of chart. So it's going to look like this. It doesn't look cool at all. There is no way I can sort this. Even though when we try to sort this, it has lots of columns. So this particular column might be sorted. This one will not be sorted according to this particular one. So what do we do instead? We can't use something like this. It's some kind of weird, right? So I'm going to have it deleted. And right now we have to add a new column. So, sorry, we have to actually create a new one. This time around, I'm going to do equals. And now, let's see here, Ctrl B. I'm going to select this particular one. So, down to here. So, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually use a function called sort. So the sort function is looking for array. The array is what we want to sort. I'm going to select everything right here. So I'm going to sort all of this. So once I've done that right now, we have to put a comma right here. Now the sort index now should be here. We choose second one. So add a comma again. Do you want to sort ascending or descending? For descending, it's -1. Then go ahead and close and hit your enter key, and it creates a scale for you. You can see New York has the highest value, followed by California, North Carolina. So this is how it goes from the highest to the lowest value, right? So once you have done this right now, you can go ahead and create a chart with this. So let's go to insert. So click over here. Now, what you need to do right away is just to do Ctrl+1. So once this is up, click over here and let's go over to here. Oh, sorry, here now. Oh, no. I think it's here. What are we doing? So, yeah, sorry. Click over the y-axis here where you have the names of the states. Then you go down and actually make sure you have some kind of on this particular axis options. Then you scroll down to category in reverse order. Then you have something like this, right? So let us quickly get off what we don't actually need. Specifically, the title is not needed. Right on the axis is going to be the primary horizontal is gone. So click on this particular bar and make sure you just do something like this. Okay, nicely done. So my aim is to highlight the top 5 cities. And how do I do that? It's something we have done before. It's not something complicated again. So now, because we have sorted this, we don't need to use formula to determine where the highest falls to, right? So I'm going to just type in max 5. So for the max 5, put my equal sign here. So here we have this. If I select this now, I can just go ahead and drag this. So here we go. Ctrl+1. We overlap it. So once we have done that, quickly we have to make sure we give it the same color of the highlight we have on our dashboard. So we go over here, fill color, and we select this. We go with something like this. Now on this particular one, we have to make sure we are consistent. We go with something like this. Oh, sorry, I think it's the third one, like this one here. Okay, so once we have done that, I can just make this a little bit smaller. Now we can Ctrl X to cut this away from here, go to dashboard, so we can paste in this here, right? So once we have this here, we can resize it to this level. So this is what we have. But what if we decide to use map? So we have limited space. For we to use the map right now, we have to create a switch between the chart and the map. How can we do this? It's something very easy. Let's go ahead and create our map. So we go over here. So here we go. We're going to create our map with this. So once we select this right now, we can go to insert, and now we have the map here. So choose this one. So we have our, map right here. This is great. So Is there any way to highlight this? So if I select to this level here, this does not make any damn sense. So we don't have to bother doing that highlight here, right? So we don't have to bother doing the highlight. So what we can do right now is to actually get off what we don't need. So we don't need this particular part here and as well the title. So we have to go ahead and take off the legend and as well take off the title away from here. This is what we need to have. So let us take it to our dashboard environment. So now I'm going to paste it down here. Okay, we have two different charts that will sit here. So how do we create a switch between them? That is something that is very important. Okay, the very first thing you need to do after you might have brought them in here is to name each and every one of them. So I'm going to go over to this particular search. So once you're on search, go ahead and search for, I think it's selection pen here. So if you don't have it, you'll just go ahead and select, just type in selection pen and click on it. It's going to open up this for you. And over here, you can see I can toggle. Can you see now? So I'm going to have this one named. So I'm going to name this one, sorry. So let us name it to state chart. So state chart is here. Oh, this is map, sorry. So we can just name this one to map alone. Map, select this one. State chart. All right, so we have these two here. I'm going to click on this one and bring it somewhere around here now. Can make it a bit bigger. So we have to make sure we remove the background from here to make it look beautiful. So no fill and as well no line. So the next thing we have to do is to be concerned about the color we have right on it. So I'm going to click over here. So once I've done that now, I'm going to go over here now. Oh, sorry, over here. Then there are presets you can actually use. Can you see them? But I'm going to go with this particular one. We have this back. So. Okay, let's go with this one. But we're going to take off this particular legend. So click over here and turn off the legend, then turn off the title. So once you have this right now, it is time for we to play around with the color that we have right on it. So just go ahead and select inside here. Once you have done that, you're going to see this particular part where it says series options, and you can change it to whatever you like here. There are different ones. So in my own case, I'm going to use automatic. Automatic looks perfectly okay for me. So here you can select and make a change to whatever you really like. So region, so you do multiple. So that's giving us blank. So we select the world map. Oh, blank as well. Let's go with automatic. So automatic looks quite okay, but right now we need to actually match the color to actually match what is right here under the highlight, right? So we highlight the highest value. So to highlight the highest value right now, we go to this particular series color here. So you have two colors. You can actually change it to 3 colors, but in my own case, I'm going to use 2 colors. So for the highest value, I want to go with this particular color. For the lowest value, let's go with this very one here. So for this particular part, it means there is no, calls right here. So what do we do to actually get this done? So go over here and select this particular part. Let's select this. So can you see right now? We turn it off to something like this. So you can choose any part of this you like. So let's go with something like this. It looks more okay. So if I go ahead and change this to this now, so it responds to my filter. So here we go. It responds to filter alert. So this is great. So we have achieved what we really want to achieve right here. The next thing we have to do right now is to look at how we can actually switch between this and this. Can you see now? Both of them. Here we go. Turn it off, bring this on. So how do we create a switch between two of them? So let me click over here and have the fill color turned off and as well the border. So once we have done this, the next thing I'm going to do is to just bring this down a little bit to create more space right in here for my title and now my toggle between the two charts. So next is for me to go over to insert, illustrations, shapes, and now let us take this particular rounded corner rectangle and drag it right here. So over here I'm going to type in show chart. So once I've done this now, I have to do Ctrl+1. Then we just have to make sure we turn off the outline. So we are going to show chart. So let's go with this. So now we need to do duplicate of this one. So we just need to do map alone. So with map, or we can do show map as well. Show map. Okay, for the show map now, I want to go ahead and choose this color. So we have that color for this. All right, so the next thing we have to do right now is to actually name our buttons. So we go over here and do selection pen. So now we selected map, double click here and do map btn for button. So over here we select and we double click. So this one is gonna be chart btn for button. So you have to remember those names right here because this is what is gonna actually help you to program how this actually get toggled. Okay, so now I'm gonna click on this one, drop it down over here. So try to make sure you keep it at a place where you would love it to be. So I think it's okay here now. So what I'm gonna do right now is just to select both of them, then go over to this particular shape format here, then align. So I want to align top, then align to the right hand, the left hand corner. So, and I think middle, line middle. So now you can't see the other one until you come over here and turn off this one. So this is how the toggle will look like, right? So for the time being, we have to look at how we can actually set it. So what we can do right now is to go over to developer. So from developer, we click on Visual Basic right in here. We are writing a program to get it done. It's not something we can do with ease, but this is very easy. Even though if you want to get the code from me, please watch how I did it. In case you want to edit your code, it will be very easy for you to actually, get it done. Let me make things easy for you here. Just go to developer. Now click on Visual Basic. So it's going to open up this for you. So please pay attention here. So come over here on this particular part, right click and go to insert and insert this particular module. So once you have this right now, I'm going to paste the code right in here. So this particular code has all the names I have actually given, like the map, the state chart, the map BTN, and the chart BTN right here. So let us test it out and see if it works. So if I click over here right now, so can you see it now? It's working 100%. So all you have to do is to make sure you name it accordingly. If it is not working for you, you have to watch it again to make sure you give it the accurate name. So the question you might have in mind right now is, how can I get this particular code? Don't worry, you're going to have it. All you have to do is to make sure you subscribe and check your folder. If you've not gotten it inside your folder, you might check under downloads. I would either have it inside the on a notepad, and I'll put it inside the folder. Just open it up and copy it and paste it right here. If it is not working for you, that might be that you did not some kind of give it a proper name. Those names here, they are very important. Those are the names that makes it work. And you already know where those names are coming from. Those are the names we have given to our, our BTN and our map. The object is being named through here. So if I go ahead and close right now, the action is not on this one. All I have to do right now is to right click here and go over to this particular assign macro, then assign hide here and show. So if I go ahead and click on this right now, this one comes up, right click again and assign macro. So click on this one and give it to this. So this is what we have. We can toggle between this effortlessly. Can you see how easy it is right now? So on this one, I'm going to click on it and go over here, click on this one and turn on the data label like this. Can you see? So we have something like this now. Okay, after getting this, the next thing we have to do is to make sure we show the contribution of the top 5. It's something similar to what we have actually done before. So how do we actually go ahead and show this? Let's find out. So go over to your analysis. As we are here, scroll to this end, and now we can actually do top 5 location. Over here we do orders. So how do we get the top 5 location contribution? So we can do sum. So we sum this top 5 here. You can sum it up to this level, or you can just focus on this particular part alone and sum this. So once we've summed it, you divide it by the sum of this whole value here. So hit your enter key. This creates this for you. So Ctrl+1 to convert this to a percentage. You do percentage, and here you go. So for orders right now, we can just do 100%, subtract it from this one. So you have this. So here we go. We have the top 5 location and orders. So what we need to do right now is to make sure we create a chart for this. It's something very simple. We have done this before. Let's go over to insert and quickly click over here. Let's go over to all charts. Now we go over to this particular one. So I'm going to select this very one, and here is what we need. So here we go. So for this one here, I'm going to take it off. This one should be gone. So the grid line as well the title, everything should be gone. Okay, so Ctrl X to cut it. Over here we have to drop it in here. So I'm going to do Ctrl+1 to bring this again. So once we have this here, we can click on this. So fill it up. So we just make it this way. So I'm going to keep it somewhere around here. So we have something like this. So the next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we give this color to match this particular top 5 here. So for orders, we match it to this particular color. So if you look at it right now, because of this color here, this one is not popping out. I might want to make sure I go back. Now let's pick this one. So nicely done. So if I scroll to this particular end, I'm going to copy this, this, and this. So Ctrl+C to copy, and over here, I'm going to paste it and drag it to this level here. So what I'm going to do right now is going to just be caused by top 5 states. So we need to actually turn on the data label. So we have to make sure we turn this to white. We can increase it. So we do the same thing to this particular one. We just increase it. So here we go. So can you see what we have right now? So this one now, if you look at it, is kind of different from this. So to get the same exact thing, I'm just going to click on this one, go over here, click on format, and the height is 0.6. So let's do the same thing here. .6. So here we go. So this is functioning very well. So what we don't have right now, maybe we might want to have it, is the data label on our chart, which is optional, but I want to keep it right on it. Let's go over here. So you select data label. So you have the values here. So when you hover, you can see the highest value come from Texas. Oh, sorry, from New York rather. So let's see. Is it from New York? Yes, from New York. And here you have the color much more brighter here. This is what we have. We're almost there. The next thing we have to do right now is to kind of bring in a title right in here. So let's go over to here. And now for title, we can do title. So the title now, let us bring in the name. Over here, I'll bring in selected. What? Selected agent. Okay, now over here I can customize how I want this to show. So I'm going to do states where customers call, then ampersand here, from. So can you see it now? We go over here now. We can just pick this, duplicate it, and have this right here. Let's go ahead and pick it up. So we have to highlight this particular area. So we go ahead and pick this up. So click on this one, then home. So I can just keep this over here, but won't this affect? Yeah, it's gonna affect this. So I'm just gonna keep it somewhere around here, like this. So if need be, I'm gonna, because of this, to reduce this like this, okay? So we apply it to this one, to this one, to this one here, to this one. So we want to keep consistency, is very important. So let us do the same thing again. Sorry. All right, so now okay, so once we have this now, I think I might want to go ahead and go over here, something more brighter, so we can apply the same thing to this very one here, this very one, this very one, this very one, this very one. All right, we have what we want. So what is left right now is to make sure, if you go ahead and change this now, this chart gets updated, and as well the map always gets updated whenever we actually make a switch of this. Okay, so I'm just going to get this one here, Ctrl D to duplicate, and over here I'm going to keep this here, stretch it. So what I'm going to do now is just to say filter by Uh, what do we do? What do we do here? So let's do choose here. Choose call agent. Choose the call agent. So I'll go over here now. I'm going to select something like this. So this is cool. You can just come over here. All right, nicely done. So we need to add some couple of slicers now. It's something very simple. The first slicer we're going to add, let's come over here. So we're going to add slicer that will affect this one. So right click on it and go ahead and bring this on. So we want to add slicer, which is going to be some kind of time of day. Right click and add slicer. So we have this here. So we want to add slicer for month. So right click and add slicer. This is beautiful. So we don't want this particular month to affect our, we do not want this particular month to affect our month chart. So I'm just going to scroll through to get to the month. Environment here, where could that be? Yeah, here. So once you click on this particular part right now, go over here, click on pivot table analyze, and over here I'm just going to name this one month. That is all. So I can actually disallow it from affecting this. So once we have done that, let's scroll back, and we're going to pick this, Ctrl X. So we go to here, we Ctrl V to paste it over here. All right, so this one now should come down here. While this one, we're going to make sure it's giving us like, what do we do? Let's do 3. Okay, we have this. Now I am going to keep it over here. So I'm going to show you how to record macro, right? So if I select this slicer and select this one now, I have to come over here to clear the slicer from here. So what can I do to have a single button that does the work for me? It's something very simple. Let's try it. So what you need to do is to go over here and click over developer and record macro. So now you call this one clear slicer. So you click on OK. So now you apply this particular slicer, you clear it, apply this one, then you clear it. Once you have done this now, go over here and click on what? Click on this particular stop to stop recording macro. So we have done that. The next thing we have to do right now is to go ahead and get in maybe let's go get something like this here. For the time being, I'm just going to apply the action to this one. So I'm going to call it clear or unfilter. Unfilter. So with my unfilter here, go over to home, centralize the text in it. So right click now and go to assign macro. So assign this particular clear slicer and click on OK. So now what will happen is if I select this one now, select this, I can click over here to unfilter everything. So can you see it right now? It has all the filter cleared for me. So this is what you need to do, right? So I can come over here right now and right click, go to slicer settings. Now over here, I can just go ahead and disallow the header and click on OK. So the header is no more, so I can't have access to actually unfilter it from the slicer. That was how I got to do that. Okay, so now here we go. The next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually make sure I some kind of click on this one. So we can do something like this. Here we go. I want to avoid this particular scroll as much as possible. So what I'm going to do right now is to right click here, settings here, then turn off this one and hide item with no data, and click on OK. So once I've done that, let's go over here now, go to slicer, and so this is okay. Nicely done. Then over here now, we have to focus on this one. So I'm going to click on this one here and make it to have something like this, right? So we're going to have two buttons here as well. But it's not going to be a button, it's going to be just normal text, right? So I can just get this one duplicated. So here, I can type in filter. You can use anything right here. You can just say filter and just bring the filter down like this. And I'm going to keep it somewhere around here. So go over to the top ribbon and centralize this. Nicely done. So for the text, I want to make sure I'm using something like this that pops, right? Or no? I don't know. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. So Ctrl B to bold it, but that is optional. Let us leave it this way. So I'm going to duplicate this one. So once I've done this duplicate here, you can stretch it. So here we go. We're going to type in here close filter. Okay. Now we have to name this particular, two objects right here. So how do we name these particular two objects? So let's go over here now. So click back here, click on this particular selection pen, and over here you can see you can toggle between this. If I double click right now, I'm going to name this one to our close BTN. Close BTN. So pay attention, then click on this particular one now. So we have to name this one to open BTN. Open BTN. Okay. The next thing now, we have to name this to month. Month. So it's already on month. It has months right here. Okay, this is all we have to do. So right away, I'm going to just click on this particular one. Let's say filter here. I'll click on filter. I will give it this particular highlight color that highlights my object for me. So I'm going to take this particular one now and have it above this very one right here, like this. Okay, once I've done that now, I told you I have something for you, right? So you go to your this thing here and you copy this particular code I have here. It's going to take me time to teach you all of this, but just copy and follow my lead. So once we have gotten this now, we just go over here. So go to developer, Visual Basic. So we can decide to actually insert it anywhere around here. So let's go ahead and insert it around here. So you can just paste this down here now. So let me just make sure my cursor is here. Once I have my cursor there, I can just go and click on this particular one to run it. So it's working. Can you see it now? It works 100%. So what we can do right now, let's have this one hidden, close this one, and over here we can right click on this and go to assign macro. The macro is actually toggle slicer visibility. So here we go. So if I click on this one now, we have this up. It says filter. When we click on filter, the filter pops up. Right click now and go to assign macro. And here we go. We have everything working 100%. So you want to get a filter, you click on it. Now, this is what it is. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. If we go back to here, this, we have almost gotten everything done 100%. This is what we have been waiting for. So it is time for we to actually work on our slicer to make it stand out, because right now it's ugly. Even this one that is hidden, if it pops out, it does not look nice at all. So how do we make this to give us something we really want? So let's try to see how we can actually format our slicers. All right, to format this particular slicer right now, we want to know what color is this. So by clicking on the background and go over here, home, and click over here, it will tell you that this is the color you're using, which is, white background 1, darker 5%, right? Okay, now we have known that. So click over here and go over to the top, go on slicer, right click, duplicate. Now format the whole slicer by clicking on format here. So there should be no border, you just click on none. So for the fill color, we select this particular one with I think with 5%. Here is it, we select this one. If I click on OK right now, click on OK right here, nothing happens until we actually go ahead and click on this one. So now let us take a look at how it looks. This is how it looks right now, right? So all I need to do right now is to right click and send this to back. Send to back. Now we can now see the line here. Can you see it now? So let me just go ahead and stretch this to show everything. Here we go, we have this, and I can actually resize this to get it look okay. All right, so what I want is to actually highlight what is selected with something like this particular color right here. How do I do it? We go over here. This time around, once we click on slicer, just right click on this one and modify it. So we're going to go for this particular selected item with data. So for the selected item with data right now, if we go over here, we can click on font. We'll leave it the way it is. Border, we're going to say no border to it. And the fill color now is going to give us something like this, right? So if I click on OK, now because everything is selected, it gives us this particular color. So what happens if I go back again and right click on this one, modify? This time around, I'll go ahead and say on selected item with data, on selected item with data. So click over here, and now we're going to fill it up with this particular color. Then for the font is going to remain the way it is. So let's go ahead and just click on OK and click on OK here. So if I select this now, the other one remains this way. But unfortunately, I don't want some kind of border around the unselected one. So we have to go back and right click, modify, then on selected item with data, we click on format here, we go over to border, we actually put it on none. That removes it for us, right? Okay, the next I have to do right now for the selected item with data, so we have to go ahead and change the font color to white because it's on selection and it's on black, it's not actually looking good. So if I go ahead and actually close, or let's go on selected item with data, we click over here, we can actually make sure we go to font, we click over here, we do this, and we can do italic for the unselected one if we wish to. So if I click on OK right now, can you see it now? Whenever there's a selection, we have something that looks like this. So we have this now. Whatever you want, you can do it, but right now I think I'm cool with what I have. So unfortunately, this is only some kind of applying slider to what we have right here. Let's just go ahead and right click and go over to this particular report connections. So under report connections, we have to connect our report. So I'm going to select this, and this right here. So if I click on OK right now, my whole dashboard will be filtered irrespective of whatever I click on right here. So if I come over to my month, so I can right click over the month and go over to report connection. Then I want to exclude the month. So only connect it to this particular ones, connect it to these ones here, connect it to these ones. Here we go. We click on OK. So when I select this particular one now, it will not affect the month where I have it right in. It will affect other charts. This is what it is that we need to know how to do. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. Okay, now with this right now, we are done with this particular one right here. So what we might want to do right now is that when we hover over the the slicer, we want to some kind of have to see white instead of this particular color. So how do we do it? Select the slicer itself, go over here, click on this, and make sure you right click and modify this. So hover selected item with data. Hover selected item with data. We don't want anything to happen. Hover selected item on selected item with data. So modify it by going over here, no border. So now the fill color should give us white color. So if I go ahead and click on OK here, look at what happens. Can you see it now? This is the fill we have. So do you think it's an ideal to actually use the same thing over this particular part here? So select this particular one, go over here, and now slicer, you click this one. So now, can you see it now? This is going to be something very cool. So, but unfortunately, I don't like what I see. So what do? We have to make sure we go over here, right click, and duplicate this one. So this time around, I want to work on the whole slicer. So I will go over to format, and let's give it a nice color. We can give it something like this one here for the whole slicer. So once you have done that, we click on OK. Click on OK right here. So we go over here now. We apply this one to it. So the selected one here is not making any damn sense right now. So what do? So it's going to be highlighted. So what if we highlight what is selected here with this particular color? So will that make any damn sense? I don't know. So what I'm going to do right now is to go over here, click over here. Sorry, to select it from there. So go over here. So we want this particular color here, but we don't want it to be applied. So let's just copy the hex code. So we can Ctrl Z to take it back and take out the color from here. Ctrl Z is gone. So let us come over here now. So we go over to slicer, right click, modify, then selected item with data. So we modify it. Instead of black here, we can just go to more color, and we paste in this very one over here. So if I click on OK right now, OK here, so it's highlighted. So I do not want any border on it. If you don't want it, you can remove it. But this time around, I think this is looking better. So if you think you can make it better than this, please just go ahead and try it and see what you can do to actually create something much more better than what I have shown you right now. So if you want to add some kind of, highlight, should I call it highlight? Effect on it, you can increase this particular font. Whenever you hover over it, you see your text will start dancing. Okay, now if you want to clear the filter, you go over here, just click on this particular one, and the filter will be cleared for you. So as you can see, filter cleared, but I don't like what it is right now. This is still some kind of not really cool for me. So you can just do anything you like, but for now, this is good. So let's say we want to hide it. Over here, you click on evening. Your whole dashboard gets some kind of filtered for you. Okay, on this particular one, I don't want to actually have this on filter on this color. So we can Ctrl 1, and we go over here. So, or still, let's match it up with this color. Yeah. So no, with this same color. So now we go to the font, the text rather, and we're going to choose something that pops like this. So if you want to leave it to look like a button by having a border right on it, you can just do that. Okay, so now I'm going to come here now and take this a bit here. So over here now, we can just move this closer to it. The next thing we have to do is to make sure we look at where we can actually keep this right on. So we can keep it somewhere around here. So now we just get this one and duplicate it, bring it right to this particular part. For the time being, let's type in something like filter by call time. Okay, so once you have this, you might want to make sure it's a bit smaller. All right, this is what we have. It's not the best, but I think it's giving you an idea on what to do. All right, we almost forgot something. That is this particular part right here where we have to show the total male calls and female calls and stuff like that. So this is something easy. Let's do it. If you have not saved your work all this while and you're trying to save it, it's going to give you a particular language that you might not understand. Let's do that. Ctrl S. So now we have this. What is happening here? The following features cannot be saved in macro-free workbooks. So that was because we already have VBA right in it. So how do we solve the situation? Just go ahead and click on No. Once you click on No, it's going to actually ask you to save this again. So click on Browse. And now we go over to this particular save type and scroll all the way up and select this particular Excel macro enable workbook. And go ahead and click on Save. It has been saved to Excel macro enable workbook. So from now on, this is what you're going to be using, because right away. So now we have to actually, get the value for the total calls that came in from the male gender and the total call that came in from the female gender right in here. So we're going to be creating a donut chart that shows the percentage of the calls from the male and the female gender, aside showing just the numbers, right? So let's see how we can get into this. So on the analysis sheets, we can actually copy any of this right here. You can just go ahead and copy this. So once I've copied this now, so I know for sure that this one is not going to grow beyond this. So I can now paste this one beneath this one right here. So you have to be very careful when doing this. If you know your pivot table will grow, vertically, don't paste another pivot table beneath it, right? And again, if you know your pivot table is going to grow horizontally, you have to be very careful when you want to paste another pivot table. Otherwise, it might actually cause no problem for you in the future. All right, so we now have this. Now I have to go ahead and get off this particular one. So we want to go ahead and get our customer gender, or the caller's gender, right? So here we go. Drag this one in here. So we have this. We don't need the grand total, but we can keep it. So what I want to do right now is just to make sure I get just the percentage, and as well the percentage, should I call it the percentage difference? No, let's do this. So over here, we can just reference this here, and we're going to just type in. I think I need to just kind of highlight this area. Then one might corresponds to this. I'm going to move it this way. So now I can make use of this to actually type in my percentage. Okay, now we have this. So over here, I can just put in gender. So just gender. So what I'm going to do right now is just to bring in those two genders right in here. Then I can copy this one down. Once I've done that, all I want is just the percentage. So I can do equals. We get to divide this one by this very one here. So what do I need to do? F4 key to lock it down. So if I don't have this particular grand total, I can sum up this particular value here to give me this value. So here we go. What happens if I copy this down? So we have this one here. Looking at this, can you see here? So this is nice. So what I'm going to do again now is going to be 100%. We subtract it from, sorry, I'm doing 200. So we subtract 100% from this. So here we go. So now you can just highlight and Control 1. we can convert this one to percentage. Okay, if we've gotten this now, the next thing we have to do is just to some kind of get this visualized. So how do we go ahead and do this? Quickly go back to your dashboard, and we can just double this and move it right here. Now we are going to go ahead and turn on the formula bar. It's always on and off. So over here now, we just have to make sure we bring in the male value. So for male, here we go. Duplicate it, keep this one over here. Then we bring in for female. So for female, bring in this. Oh, what happens? Okay. So we go again. All right, we have those two values right here. So what I want to do right now is just to click on this one and go ahead and grab the formatting from here. So this. Okay. If I've gotten this done, I'm going to just click on this one and bring it down a little bit like this here. Hold my control key to make sure I go up here. Then we align this to the bottom. Nicely done. Then we can move this down here. Once this is moved down, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on this one and do the same thing just to make sure you have equal alignment, align to the bottom. All right, so now we can just go ahead and bring this to this level here. So I can keep it over here now and hold my control key. I just love to make sure I keep some kind of consistency to the bottom. Here we go. Nicely done. Right. So this is okay. So once we go back now, I'm going to highlight this particular environment here for my female. Then we go ahead and create this kind of chart. Here we go. Do not chart here. So I don't want any of this particular title and legend here. Then I'm going to take them off. So make it small. And now we are capturing 30%. So for the 30%, I can just double click it and I have this up. I just want to go over to my fill color and let's grab this color here. And for this particular one now, we want to grab this particular color for it. So make it smaller. So you can click on it and come over to here and just adjust this. Okay. So once I've done that now, the next thing I'm going to do is to Ctrl X to cut it. Go to my dashboard and let's do this. So paste it over here. Take off the fill color and as well the outline. Then we can just move it and keep it somewhere around here. So if you look at it right now, we have a white border around it. So we're going to click on it and go over here and take off the white border. No border here. We have something like this. Okay, I'm going to work on these particular figures I have here. Just go over to home and we reduce it like this. So that will actually make me to bring this down a bit. So Ctrl D to duplicate it. The duplicate should be moved here. So once I have this over here, right click and go over to select data. Now we have to change from female to male. So we click on OK. So this one now is capturing 60%. Over here is our 60%. So we just want to make sure this particular color is selected and it reflects here. Then we're going to go ahead and give it this one. So once we have done that, I'm going to change the color by coming over here to give it maybe the lighter version. So here we go. So click on this particular one and I think it's this very one here. So do you see this now? The border is now gone finally from this one. So here we go. The next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we bring in the values like the percentages. So I want to go over here. Now I just want to make sure this particular percentages here do not have, decimal number. So here we go. Let's go over here now and just copy or duplicate any of this. Let us pick for male. Picking for male now, we just go over here. This is the male gender. So we have this. So bring this over here. So I want to make sure it's bold. So Control 1 to bring this, move it here. And now go over here. We want to match it up with this particular color. You see that? So duplicate it. I'll move this over here. So let's go ahead and pick up for the female. All right, once we have this, we just want to make sure, Control Z. So once we have this now, we want to make sure we change the color to match this one here. You see this now? All right, everyone, if you look at this right now, this is actually 100% interactive Excel dashboard that you can actually place a filter right on, and the values you have would definitely change, and here is it. This is what we want exactly. We can actually switch to map here, and this is what it is that you need to understand. Okay, so I hope this particular one helps. And I believe you might want to replicate this and look at how you're going to actually apply the same techniques on your own personal dashboard. So see you in my other videos.